This is the complete overview and breakdown of growth operating, shadow operating, being an operator as a whole, where you take an online creator and create an info offer or an education product and scale them to the moon, right? That's the goal, is to help these guys sell their programs, one-on-one coaching, masterminds, whatever it ends up being. And of course, when you make them money, you make money in return. I'm going to do a complete breakdown of growth operating, all in one sitting, no edits, straight game and value. And the best part about it is I have the SOPs that were for internal use restructured for you guys in this video. So not only in this video am I going to walk you through the overview of growth operating, the questions that I wish I knew whenever I was starting that would have exploded my results much earlier. And I'm actually going to give you the SOPs that you're able to access for 100% completely free. So this free course is unlike any that you've ever seen. This isn't just a video with me demonstrating knowledge on growth operating to upsell you into my program. This basically is a program in itself. I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to build out funnels, the one tool that you're going to need throughout the entire process to scale your coaches and to get them set up. And again, I'm going to give you all the internal SOPs that you're going to be able to leverage and use for yourself. This course is not going to be for you if you are not an action taker. Now, you probably saw the length of this course, and there's a good chance that you are an action taker. So I'm going to encourage you, as you watch this video, to actually take action and implement and do things as we actually discuss them throughout this video. For example, getting access to the documents or signing up for your free trial to start building out your systems, whatever it is. I want you at the end of this video, the goal is you are officially a growth operator if you haven't started, or your system's just 10x'd in improvement and they're so much better and your clarity is profound. You can actually communicate what you're selling to these guys on a Loom video or a call, which Loom video you're gonna see is actually erased from the SOPs these days. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is the full course on how to become a growth operator or a shadow operator. And this is the only course that teaches growth operating the right way on the one software built for growth operators. Okay, so we're gonna go from lead, DM, page, call, close. I'm gonna show you guys the entire process. And by the end of this course, you're gonna have a profile that sells. You're gonna have searchable positioning. You're gonna have a clean link for your branding. You're gonna have a grid that shows the machine. You're gonna have a funnel that's live, an outreach system, your first client path, as well as a machine that runs it. There is no guarantees or income claims whatsoever, but this course is meant to help you. And if you follow it, this is the same path that I personally followed to actually take clients from zero, just making a YouTube video, one single YouTube video, cash collecting $0 into just 3 months later, cash collecting over $161,000 in profit, cash collected. This is all going to be completely doable with just one software. So no duct tape needed, no fancy build outs on various different softwares and integration. Growth operating used to be a very complicated business model, and it's very powerful. It is still holding that same power, but it's so much less complicated now with the tools that are available for specifically growth operators. So these are the 15 modules that we're going to cover in the order that you're going to take action. So first of all, we're going to go over the foundation of becoming a growth operator. Of course, the intro, as well as the mindset and the micro commitments that can actually lead to changing your life. This is a little brain hack, micro commitments. A lot of people use it in health, for example, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm not going to work hard. I'm just going to do one set. And the next thing you know, they do that one set and end up having the best lift of their life because they actually went and just did it with a micro commitment. We're going to go over the growth operating overview, which includes the SOP. We're going to go over how to get seen, how to actually optimize your Instagram profile. There's a full SOP on that. Any of these that have SOP next to them, guys, I'm giving you a document with full in-depth breakdown SOP. We're also going to cover it in this video, right? Landing page and VSL, you're going to actually have your outreach strategy, your sales call, your pricing and pitch, your onboarding, fulfillment, your pipeline and marketing to actually run the machine for the clients that you get, and then also how to scale from there when it comes to hiring, documentation, payment processing, and daily operator task. It's important to understand that a big problem growth operators have when getting into this business model is they don't know what to do after the build out. A lot of after the build out, which we're going to break down and jump into deeply, but it heavily revolves around sales management and consulting. So understand that with the way that you're viewing this and how you actually sponge in the resources and knowledge. So every module that I showed you with SOP ships with the SOP. Just watch it. I'm going to show you the real document, but you can also grab all 10 documents of the internal SOPs for completely free. This used to be program material for me, and now I'm giving it away for free on YouTube. This is genuinely going to help you in your journey with your understanding and actually committing to getting started or growing wherever you are as a growth operator. Even if you're already doing $20,000, $50,000 plus a month with clients, this is going to help you and likely change the way that you actually run your agency. You're going to be able to run leaner. You're going to be able to run faster. You're going to be able to run better. But you can grab the entire stack of these SOPs for free. And I'm going to tell you how to get them as we go. But you'll be able to go down into the free Telegram group, grab them through my Instagram. You'll be able to grab them. Super easy to get in terms of like, I'm making this all accessible, guys. I'm not like getting you to go through a landing page and book a call with me for a free consulting call to get these documents, because I'm giving this to you, okay? So first of all, let's get into mindset and micro commitments. 3 rules that this entire model runs on. Volume beats deliberation. 20 seconds to qualify a prospect, and you can hit 30 to 50 profiles a day. You're kind of capped there because of Instagram DM limits. Your perfect targeting is procrastination wearing a suit. The list block decides your month, okay? So if you are trying to find the perfect prospects and clients, especially with minimal experience, you're just procrastinating. At the end of the day, you don't know who's going to perform until you've constantly got the experience in various different niches with different personality types, with different content platforms and how they operate, different teams, what they have in place, different communication from people. Everybody's different, okay? But this course is going to show you how to tie that all in together, as well as the 6 different archetypes of clients that you could be working with. So again, mindset-wise, volume. Even when you get clients, it's still volume. Your volume might pull back in terms of your DM outreach, for example, which again, I'm going to give you the whole strategy if you don't understand that yet. But volume beats deliberation. You don't need the perfect DM every single time. You need a repeatable system. You don't need to send Loom videos before somebody responds to you and gives you the time of day. That's a waste of time. Speed is the cheapest edge. A reply that sits for a day is a dead conversion. Speed to lead costs nothing but attention. Speed to lead not only for yourself and to acquire clients, but when you do get a client, your setters, or if you're setting, as I'm going to show you, like how does setting and closing work when you get your first client before you're doing enough volume to hire a team, right? At the end of the day, regardless of the setup, speed to lead is incredibly important in this space, in this industry. It beats talent more than often. Systems over willpower. Systems are incredibly underrated, even by growth operators. It's kind of crazy to see, right? If it isn't in the pipeline, it doesn't exist. You're going to forget. If you do not have a proper CRM in place, a proper sales pipeline, if you have 300 DMs from the past 10 days, somebody's going to go unnoticed. Same thing with your client offers. That's why a CRM is important. And I'm going to give you the full 22-stage pipeline setup for completely free in this video, okay? But the point is, you will forget and leave money on the table if you do not have a system in place to track, okay? Every module from here builds a machine, so your worst day still follows out. 2 small moves before module 3 comes. First of all, go ahead and collect the documents that you need, okay? They're all gonna be in the free Telegram, and you're gonna be able to build your operator library as we go. You can also DM me on Instagram if you don't use Telegram or don't like it, whatever it is. Just shoot me like a message that says, hey, I watched the free course. Can you send me the documents? And like, you'll immediately get the documents, right? Also, I highly encourage you to actually build along. This is one of the big ways that this course video separates itself from other course videos. I'm not just giving you mental masturbation, okay? That's what a lot of course videos and YouTube videos do. This is genuinely to take action. I'm giving you the SOPs that are going to improve your entire system, your entire business end to end. But I want you to also build along in this video. Everything starts with a free trial. There's literally no excuses to not get started. Okay, so with OpBot, you're gonna have a 14-day free trial, and you're only gonna need the smallest plan. We're gonna dive into that and the differences in this video as well. Again, we're covering absolutely everything you need to know to get started. This is going to basically replace my program of one-on-one and, actual material SOPs. Again, like this is full transparency, guys. I'm giving you everything, okay? So make sure to actually build out your profile, your funnel, your pipeline as we go along. This is the growth operating overview. So what does a growth operator actually do? A growth operator finds coaches who already have an audience. Yes, you want to be knowledgeable on content and attracting attention, but they better already have attention if you're trying to sell a product for them. You take that attention and you go ahead and install a system that turns their views into leads, into applications, into booked calls, and ultimately closed clients. You're not selling them content. They already make content, you sell them the machine behind it. So here are the 7 steps as a new operator. You might find yourself at stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and you can go ahead and skip ahead in the video if you need, but I highly encourage you, say you are on stage 4, for example. Again, the SOP for DMing, a lot of you guys that have already started, reach out to me on Instagram. You asked me how you can improve your outreach strategy, and today I'm giving the full SOP out for completely free. So go as you need. And a rare prospect to find, but really what we're aiming for is a YouTube coach, because YouTube is long form content. The average buyer needs to consume 6 to 7 hours worth of content to actually convert. So you're not going to watch like hundreds, even thousands of reels to get there. Most people don't have thousands of reels posted, but you can accomplish this in just a couple YouTube videos with the strategy that I'm going to show you later in this video. Again, I'm showing you everything in this video. Every video leaks leads. Your job is to just plug the leak as a growth operator. So we're going to build your presence. You're going to find your clients on YouTube. You're going to DM them on Instagram. You're going to send them a mock-up, which we're going to jump into this if you're not following along. And then they're going to take the call, or you're going to take a call because it's client onboarding, right? And then you're going to onboard, install them, and then you're going to run the data long-term. What you need before you start is, of course, an Instagram account. If you don't have an Instagram account that you're willing to put your name on and your profile picture is actually you, a real person, showing your face, and you don't come off confident or proud in what you're doing, it's going to be very challenging to actually close a client or find a client at all that's going to respect the work that you do. You're also going to want one domain inside a link in your bio. You're going to want to get OpBot, which is the only software that I use as a growth operator. I canceled Calendly, Typeform, Zapier, Go High Level, ClickFunnels, whatever else there is, whatever else I was using that added up to over $1,500 a month. You can literally get OpBot on a free trial and get a starter plan that you can easily leverage. And I'm going to show you how. You can easily leverage it to get your first client and completely fulfill for them with minimal experience in minutes, okay? If you have 0 case studies, that's fine. I'm also gonna show you how to assign clients with 0 case studies and start off with a little bit easier of an offer. But if you do have clients already, again, I'm going to talk about that as well. So whatever spectrum you are as a growth operator, we're gonna cover it. If you want the growth operating overview document, this is exactly what the SOP looks like. It actually covers what a growth operator does from every single stage. Phase 1 is actually going to be building your presence, your entire link, exactly step by step on what to do, actually building out your funnels, your new funnel, your VSL, your application, the entire system, okay? And this is a 10-page document that's actually gonna show you everything that you need. So again, go and get these resources so you can watch the video alongside them and actually start taking action. So next, we're gonna be talking about your Instagram profile. Your profile is your advertising, okay? Every single coach that you DM, if they click on your profile and they notice one of these things are off, you are not closing them. They are not purchasing from you. I don't care like who you are or what you think. If they click on your profile and it's an anon account, they're probably not even gonna open the DM, first of all, okay? They click on the DM, they go to your profile, there's a 0% chance they're responding. So first of all, the first thing they're gonna see is your actual profile picture. You want a photo, a well-lit face is gonna beat a logo 99.9% of the time. You want to be proud of what you're doing. You want to show that you're a real human. You want to connect with people and relate with people and give them a reason to respond to you and build a relationship or connection with you and ultimately trust you inside of their business, right? Your name field, you don't want to just put your name. You want to actually put what you do inside of the name field. And inside of your bio, you want to add who do you help? What's the mechanism? Where's the proof? And go ahead and do one line each. And you want to make it to where they can read it in 2 seconds. Okay. A big thing that people miss out on when they're a growth operator is their link in bio. Most operators don't have a link in bio. You're sending them nowhere. Now, you should 100% of the time, I would say 99% of the time, that 1%, you can put a YouTube video, a breakdown, a client result, of course, but majority of the time, you're going to want a VSL funnel, a VSL application call funnel, and we're gonna break this down in the course on how to set it up and the details of it, but you're gonna want a link that proves you can do what you're saying you can do and that you implement it for yourself. And then your pin posts, you're gonna want obviously 3 squares that demonstrate the machine and not just your lifestyle. So for the actual name, like you want to put keywords inside of your name, not your actual Instagram like tag, your handle. Like this is like the handle mistake, for example. You don't want to be like at carsongrowthsystems.coach. You know what I mean? You want to actually add your name as, you know, for example, my name's Carson Queck, growth operator, right? Hopefully you know that if you're watching this video. But you can throw in this little dash and then you can literally say exactly what you do. For example, like systems for coaches on YouTube or YouTube coaches. And again, bio in 3 lines, easy peasy. This entire SOP for the Instagram profile is actually set up completely for you. Again, you need to be watching this, taking in the actual knowledge, but using and reviewing these documents and actually following them step by step. These are going to break down exactly what you need to do as a growth operator. Everything is here for you in this video, and I'm giving it for free. So your landing page and your VSL, you want your page to actually do the selling. So your page is going to come with 5 parts, and they each have one specific job. So when they open your VSL, again, we're going to have 2 different VSLs. One's going to be link in bio. One's going to actually be for DMs, and they are different. So make sure you pay attention. Your headline for the actual one in your bio is going to be their outcome. It's all going to be outcome oriented. And if you have a result, like always put that number there. Don't like bury it in video. Be very clear that you've gotten results. Your subheadline is going to be the mechanism in one sentence, what the system actually does, what it replaces. The VSL is actually going to do the selling, broad selling. So when people hit your page or you send a DM, a lot of guys are not going to respond to you, but they are going to check out your page. So you need to give them all the information. If they don't respond to you and say, yes, I want the Loom video, they're going to, a lot of the time, click on your page, see a link in your bio, click it, see what you actually do. And if you have a very good landing page in VSL, they might respond to you and actually already be pretty much sold. They just want pricing details, right? Then you want a proof block under the VSL with your results again. If you're starting from 0, just show the machine itself, not the full system and like every little step, but the overview of the actual machine so that they're able to get belief into the system. Then you want your CTA and obviously booking. With the link in bio, you are going to want them to fill out an application first. If we're being honest, like majority of coaches are not going to apply through the VSL or book a call through a link in your bio. If you put a Calendly in your bio, they're never going to book a call. You're not going to send people there, like DM them and say, hey, go to the link in my bio. This is just playing its role of actually creating believers that don't yet respond to your DMs and still holding authority and showing proof of concept, right? But you want to show the entire workflow as your own funnel. Your VSL can even be like on your own funnel if you have no client results. So for the VSL, you're going to want 30 to 60 seconds max per beat. And by beat, it's just like the 6 stages, okay? So first of all, the first stage is open on the leak. Every coach has a leak. If you're targeting a specific type of coach in a specific niche, then it's going to be extremely repeatable and you can throw it in the VSL. You're going to tell them the actual cost. So for example, it's like most coaches on YouTube are sending people straight to a Calendly link, and by doing this, you're losing every 1,000 views, 20 different applications, and that could be costing you X amount, right? That's an example just off the top of my head. For number 3, you're going to want to actually show the machine in the VSL and then the actual proof. And then you can actually say like who does what, like I'll handle this. This is all that's expected of you. You're going to take care of your content. I'm not going to try to butt heads with you on it. I will give you pointers, but you don't have to like take the feedback, for example, you know what I mean? This year VSL, so a little less personal, a little more information and authority based. And I do want to say, look the part in your VSL. Like nobody wants to buy from somebody that like your haircut is all jacked up, or maybe you haven't got a haircut forever and like you clearly don't take care of yourself. You don't look healthy. How you look is extremely important overall. For the 6th, you're going to want a CTA. So after you're clear on everything end to end, again, you want to keep your VSL really less than 5 minutes so that they're actually consuming it. And the CTA is, of course, going to be to fill out the application below and then book a call. And with results, obviously open with a number and then reverse engineer it on the screen. So if you already have results, that's the first thing you want to say, because the most likely part of the VSL they're going to be watching is the first 5 seconds. And if you open it with, I took a client from 0 to over $161,000 cash collected in 90 days. This is how I did it. Or you can even do one better and say, $161,000 cash collected from zero in just 90 days. That was one of my client results. And you can actually start with the number very first thing that you say. That's extremely underrated as well. So you're actually going to have two funnels. One's for your bio and your YouTube description if you are getting on YouTube, which I do recommend, especially when you get client results. It's going to help you get more clients, build more authority, actually put people into some sort of content funnel to build trust without just having to do purely outreach. But again, that's where the VSL application call funnel is going to go. Your VSL is going to be similar for your actual DM outreach, but you're removing the application because you're already reaching out and DMing these people. You already went to their Instagram, you reached out to them, meaning they're already qualified. You don't need them to fill out a form. Just have them go ahead and book a call straight from the link. Now, how does this differentiate from sending a Loom video? This isn't the first thing that you're going to outreach with. We're going to go over the outreach strategy. And again, there's an entire SOP for it to follow step by step to give you full clarity. But the VSL call funnel, again, compared to a Loom video, the Loom video is outdated. Everybody's spamming Loom videos, and most of the time they look terrible. And you have to re-record them every single time for new clients. Like you think, for example, let me tell you this story. I had somebody reach out to me the other day and they asked me if I could quickly review their DM process. And I was like, and they shot me all of it and made it super easy. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna check it out. I go through their video and watch their Loom, and they're like, dude, I'm sending out like a few of these a day and I'm grinding, I'm working X amount of hours, and what can I do to improve? And the most simple thing was the best improvement for them, and that was send a message before making the Loom. Like, get a response first. How many messages can you send compared to personalized Loom videos? A lot. So go ahead and get a response before personalizing a Loom video, of course. Now, if you can remove the need to having to make a personalized Loom by making a personalized VSL, which you don't have to re-record, that would be pretty great, right? The way that we do that is one size fits all VSL. It shows what you do as a whole, but then you go ahead and you make the copy on the page in the headline and call them out specifically. So if the guy's name is Alexander King, Alexander King, this, and you send it to them in DMs and they're like, wow, this guy made a full funnel, not just a Loom video, a full funnel and a VSL for me. And it's straight to call booking, which Loom, they got to respond and you have to follow up. Hey, would you like to book a call? Do you still want to book a call? They already have the CTA and the call button on the page with the VSL. It makes no sense to send a Loom video instead of a customized VSL with a headline calling them out, but a VSL you don't have to re-record. Quality controls there. You only have to shoot it once. It saves a ton of time. And again, you can make the VSL 10 times better than what you would make a Loom video because you only got to do it once. The entire SOP, again, for the landing page is going to be in the Telegram below, or just DM me on Instagram. But these SOPs, guys, don't take them for granted. Like, they're built for a reason. These genuinely improved the way that I run my business as a growth operator greatly, and they will help you as well. They'll give you clarity regardless of what stage you're at. And, I talk to some guys that reach out for help, but then they're like dead set in how they run their business and what systems and softwares they use. And like, honestly, they're just idiots, right? It's like, this isn't working. Can I get help? Here's how you can improve. But it looks very different from what you're doing right now because you're doing it wrong and not getting results. And they're like, oh, but I think I'm doing it right, but I'm making $0. So don't be that guy. You know what I mean? There's a ton of those guys. Now we're going to cover outreach, and YouTube is where you're going to outreach. Okay. Trust me on this one. Of course, if you are on Instagram and you're following all the coaches that, again, this is not going to be in the material, so let me mention it right now. If you reach out to a coach, follow them. If somebody DMs me and they're a setter and they don't follow me, like I don't even care what they say. I don't care if they have the best outreach message of all time. Like they didn't even take the time to follow me and they're like asking for something. You know what I mean? Whether it's like attention, a role, and all like whatever it is, right? Follow the coach on Instagram, right? Plus, you're going to get recommended all the other coaches as you start to follow more coaches in one niche. So it makes your outreach even easier when you get on Instagram and you're like getting fed new leads, right? Instead of just YouTube alone. So basically, you're going to be wanting to watch who just published. This is a great method because you can see who's actually actively posting on YouTube. It's like they just posted a new video. Obviously, they care about it. It's hot on their mind. Like if they posted within the last hour, you know what I mean? Then they're obviously invested into growing their YouTube and trying to make something of it. So pick a niche. Your niche can be biz op or not. Honestly, like every course, every single material like that you go through for growth operating is going to talk about niches, drop shipping, trading, e-commerce, like whatever it is. Guys, like just pick one and double down on it. You can make money with pretty much any niche. Okay, just stay consistent and send 1,000+ DM messages over the span of a month or two, and you're probably going to be in a better spot than where you were before the 1,000 messages, right? It's not that complex when it comes to outreach. It's a volume game. And again, if you need to leverage micro commitments, say, I'm going to send one DM outreach a day, and I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm only going to send one. And some days you're going to send a full 30. And some days you're going to send 15. Some days you're going to send one. But if you're committed to one, you better not send 0. Okay? So commit to a number that you know 100% you have the discipline to do this every single day at a bare minimum, because some days you're going to outperform it. But do not be the guy that skips entire days of outreach when you commit to one message, 2 message, 3 message outreaches that can be the difference in your results long term, right? So search a niche and go ahead and actually, like, say you do e-commerce. I used to actually be an e-com coach like years ago before I was growth operating. It's actually how I got into growth operating. Whenever I started learning systems as a coach, I was doing 20 to 30,000 a month as a e-com coach, but I wasn't just Shopify drop shipping. I was doing Etsy arbitrage, which I actually came up with that term. It's Etsy drop shipping. Go down that level. You don't have to go for guys that are just doing the most known thing. Do a little bit of research on e-commerce. You're going to find different Amazon business models, Etsy, eBay, Pinterest. There's so many different ways to make money with e-commerce, right? That's just an example. So find a sub niche inside of a main niche. So same thing, fitness coach, subcategory would be like a menopause fitness coach. Then go ahead and sort these videos that you just searched up to the most recent. You're going to see videos that are literally being posted within the minute, within the hour, within the day, the week, whatever it is. And you're going to literally qualify them in 20 seconds. It doesn't take much. You know they're actively posting. This isn't like you found an email list or you went to their Instagram and they posted a reel, you saw a reel, and like they're not really posting on YouTube. They don't get great traction on Instagram, but like you want to sign them because you're desperate. Not worth it. Go to YouTube, qualify people in 20 seconds just based on, okay, it's not only based on, honestly, like your qualifier is the fact that they just posted like just recently. Like they're obviously trying to actively make a difference with their YouTube and their reach, right? So that's probably qualifying enough for a lot of you. Find their Instagram, and real quick before we go into finding their Instagram, like even if you have 5 clients, you should not be stopping outreach. You should be hitting outreach every single day as a growth operator. You want to build up your actual like leads, know what coaches you could work with if something were to go wrong, or put them on different types of offers. Maybe not a full rev share, maybe some type of consulting or just a one-time build out. You should always be doing outreach. Once you qualify them on YouTube, find their Instagram and it's going to be in their YouTube video description most of the time. If it's not, you can go into like their About tab or just search them up on YouTube. But find them on YouTube and then contact them in their actual DMs. You want to try to hit 30 to 50 qualified profiles a day, which with this method, pretty much everybody's qualified. Okay, so 30 to 50 outreaches a day. And I'm going to show you exactly the messages that you actually have to send initially. Okay, so here's your 20-second qualifier outside of just them posting alone. This is your green light versus skip it. So if they're publishing weekly-ish, like even if they're posting bi-weekly, I had a coach that absolutely killed it, was doing over 6 figures a month with a video a month, okay? As long as they're posting somewhat recently and it's not like a 6-month-old video, then you know that they're actively trying to improve the channel. If the description links to a call or program, even better. I mean, that's just like, if they're posting constantly, they have a program, but they don't know how to set up the systems. If they talk about clients one-on-one with camera, one-on-one on camera, if they have real comment engagement, that's great. Booking link is a bare Calendly, awesome. So basically what you're looking for a green light is a lack of systems and proof of momentum. Okay, a lot of people are like, would you rather have this coach who's been on YouTube for 6 years with 50K subscribers, or this guy who has 600 subscribers and he started 2 weeks ago, he's posted twice and both of his videos have gotten over 4K views? I'm taking the guy, I mean, you need a little more data based on like the views, and if the other guy for 6 years has posted, like tried to sell a program, likely he has, but say his videos are like kind of dead. The guy that's getting 4K views on a brand new YouTube channel with 2 posts has incredible momentum. Like if he keeps posting and doing the same thing he's doing, he's going to explode insanely quickly if his first 2 videos are 4K plus views, right? And that's just an example. You're going to want to skip them if they haven't posted on YouTube within like 8 months. If they have no offer anywhere, they're not trying to make money with it, they're usually just not taking it seriously. So you can try to convince them to make an offer. I guess it's still worth an outreach here and there if you're really confident in it or you just have that intuition. But if they have no offer anywhere, they're likely just doing it as a hobby. If they're pure entertainment and there's literally no intent to sell, again, same thing, hobby. If their comments are off and their teams run everything, right? Already running a polished tracked funnel. You guys, some of you will be able to tell, some of you won't. Some of you guys will see a landing page with a VSL in an application and think that that's polished. Just because they have it doesn't mean it's good, and it doesn't mean that the team behind the system is good or that they're actually fulfilling on sales management, consulting, or that the coach is happy with them or has a relationship with them of any kind. So I'd be very careful with like what you judge as a polished funnel. Obviously, if you go to like the biggest dudes in the space and you look at Alex Hormozi's funnel and like it's phenomenal, like obviously you're not going to outreach to a guy with like that level of a funnel. But that's going to be like the least of your problems, to be honest with you. A bare Calendly is honestly a really good buying signal. There's no VSL, no qualification, no follow-up. There's usually no sales management or pipeline. And that also usually means that the coach is already taking their own calls, which is a very good thing because you want the coach to take their own calls. There's a full SOP on actually setting up your coaches for sales, and we're going to deep dive into that here in a second. But that's the entire pitch handed to you before you've said a word if they have the bare Calendly, right? So you're not reaching out. Now we're into DM outreach, right? We're not reaching out and trying to immediately pitch them in the first message. I get a ton of messages like that for some reason where it's like, hey, I'll do XYZ for you. And it's like, dude, like I'm not opening those. I'm not accepting them. Like it's just pointless to send messages like that. Send a message first that is actually like fits in the preview. Okay. So if you send something that's personalized to them, that's a very short message, like your blank video, like say like your Etsy e-commerce video, your Etsy dropshipping video, is the link in your description just to Calendly, question mark. Like you're still asking them about the business, but it's very broad. Like you could be a client or potential customer, or you could be just trying to sell them systems and become their growth operator, but they don't know yet. They should be able to know once they click on your profile and go to your VSL link though. Your second message is going to be like the permission message. This one is a little bit overplayed, so you have to be careful with it. But say, for example, you send this and then next your follow-up would be like say they say, yes, it is. Makes sense. I build the system that sits behind that link for YouTube coaches, the VSL page, qualification, auto booking, follow-up. Cool if I send over something short showing what it would look like for their brand. And then you send them the pre-made VSL, but you make the headline custom to them. So instead of you taking 30 minutes to record a shitty loom, you take 30 seconds to change the headline for them and create a different mock-up, which I'm going to show you how to do. Again, it's in the SOPs. Everything that I reference in these where you're like, well, how do I create the VSL? How do I create the mock-ups? How do I do XYZ? Guys, the SOPs have everything. Like the SOPs are incredibly in depth. It's like a program, especially when you mix it with this course video plus the SOPs, you're going to have full clarity. There's not going to be another course video or even really a program for a very long time that you're going to have to invest in. So once you actually send it, here you go, built it in your brand so you can actually see it, and then you can send over their customized domain, which again, it's in the SOP of how to do that. I'm not going to sit here and like show you how to like customize domain and create mockups. So they're in the SOPs. You know what I mean? The follow-up cadence, your new replies are a speed to lead event. Like you just need to be on it. As soon as they message you, you should be responding back. There's a big, I don't want to call it a trend, but there's this thing that people have or believe where it's like, if a girl snaps you, for example, and it's like, shorty just snaps me, I saw the notification instantly, and it's like, should I respond right now? She's gonna think I have no life, or like she's gonna think I'm in love, like whatever it is. Like guys, this is not that case scenario. Like respond immediately, okay? They're gonna respect that you're responding immediately. You don't have to sit there and wait 2 minutes looking at the notification and like trying to time up when you feel is the right time. Like, click on the notification and respond to the people. People that perform at a high level and want to do good things actually respect that a lot, okay? So treat inbound like a new lead, not an inbox chore. Space follow-ups a day apart. So in the actual follow-up, you're going to have a pipeline SOP that kind of shows you the time windows of when to be sending messages. So just again, SOP, but you don't want to be following up like spamming their DMs, but you want to find the line of like, they're not going to block you immediately if they don't want the offer, but they're going to block you eventually if they don't want the offer. You know what I mean? It's like if they're going to block you, they're never going to be a customer. Okay. But like you want to keep following up to the point where it's like, this is starting to feel weird. And 80% of conversions come from follow-up touch point 5 to 12. Okay. So you need to be hitting your leads 5 to 12 times. That's where 80% of conversions are going to come from. So for the 3 follow-ups, then stop. This is not like stop follow-up. This is like 3 follow-ups to get to 5 to 6 touch points and move them into more of like a nurture sequence rather than your actual DM outreach and follow-up sequence. You're going to actually need to start sending them more than likely like materials, for example, videos if you're making them, SOPs, documents that can help them, whatever it is. Like your follow-ups are basically going to target the most aware in a way, and if they're not responding to your actual initial follow-ups, then now you actually need to take them from less aware to aware. So now you're sending them material on making them aware of why they need it and that it's like industry standard to have, maybe an operator or these systems in place if they're trying to take it serious and get to the next level. So again, like don't send a loom. It's just it's not worth it, right? It's not worth it. So here's the SOP for the actual outreach, the client acquisition guide. So you're gonna have your build a list, the qualification signals, your outreach, and your actual how to build this end to end. So like I said, with the mock-up funnels, one domain, all of this is so easily taken care of, even with zero experience on OpBot, especially with SOPs that tell you exactly what you need to do. So do not overcomplicate the business model anymore by using 100 different softwares and like trying to learn them all and build on all of them, because you're not going to master them for a very long time compared to and not only will you not master them, but they won't master their software for what you do. What I mean by that is Go High Level, for example, is a CRM tool commonly used in the past by growth operators. I used it for a long time. It's not built for growth operators. It's built for businesses in general, and growth operators had to build what they wanted within it. And there's certain features that are left out that are not optimal, or things that are just like not possible within the platform. But now there's OpBot, which handles all of that and literally completely builds the system end to end. You'll be able to see on your trial, also within the SOPs, like helping you do exactly what you do. Again, like you're going to be able to end this video with, you should have your entire Instagram profile, you should have your VSL funnel and your VSL, you should have your actual systems, your personal agency dashboard that you can white label when you upgrade, whatever it is. You should have that all done by the end of this video. Okay, we're action takers. It's important to actually do things, and the micro commitment in this situation would be, I'm going to go download the SOP documents. That's the easiest step of action that you can go take. You go click download, and it's less than reading through them, but you're actually taking action on them. There's no opt-in, like I'm not collecting your contact information or whatever. Like they're genuinely free. They're free, right? So then once you have found a client, you've followed up with them, now it comes down to your actual sales call, your pricing, and your pitch. So 4 things to hit, and you want to hit them in this order. You want to say their numbers out loud, okay? Their views per video, what happens after the click. Again, we sent from the VSL, from the DMs, to actually book a call with you directly. So you want to then create a breakdown for them. Views per video, what happens after the click, like, hey, you just have a Calendly link. There's a lot of guys that don't want to get on a call. Here's an example of a person that implemented this strategy and they increased their leads by 457%. And they actually booked more calls by adding this friction within the funnel. And it also eliminated a lot of the time wasting calls on top of that. So with more calls being booked per month, like what is a client worth? You know, for example, a lot of these guys are selling programs that are $3,000 to $5,000 plus. What is a client worth to them? Okay. Most coaches have never said these in sequence, and the gap becomes obvious without you arguing. From there, you want to name the link, the leak, which we pretty much just covered, right? You're publishing to thousands of people, and the only path is that booking link with no qualification or follow-up. They have no email sequences, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Then you want to show the system, not the software that you're using. Like you're not going to be like showing them, this is OpBot, this is the software that I use. You need to show them your white labeled branding and your system. Okay, like this is what we build for coaches. This is the overview. This is not how to do it, but this is what it is. And this isn't like where to build it either. You know what I mean? So this is never a tool tour, okay? Be explicit about who does what. This is extremely important and incredibly underrated when you're starting off as a growth operator. A lot of growth operators really struggle with pricing and actually like clarity on fulfillment, and then clarity on what the coach is still actually supposed to take care of. I actually talked to an operator the other day he's struggling with the fact that he's taking calls for the coach, and the coach is very picky about like systems and having ownership, even though he didn't charge an upfront fee. and he's also not charging extra for closing. Okay, so here's a couple things that are not necessarily in the material of the course. So if you're watching this and you're not just like skipping around, then lucky you, you're actually going to get these points that are incredibly important. The coach should be closing their calls, which we're going to jump into these numbers. The coach should be closing their calls to start. You should eventually take some of their calls if you have that many leads and you don't yet have a closer, and you can split paths and take calls for them, especially with the high ticket program. But if you're gonna take calls for them, you don't take them for free. Say you charge, for example, 20% rev share and an upfront fee for the systems, and they're on a sub account, again, all in the SOPs, all in the future of this course. If you're like, oh, we haven't learned that yet in this video, like you'll learn it. But they're a sub account on your OpBot. You build out their systems. They're not buying the systems, they're buying you as a partner. So they don't keep anything when you leave. Okay, this prevents you from getting fucked very hard. It happens very commonly. Okay, if you build out the systems on all of their softwares that they want to use and whatever it is, like, and you can do it as a build out, like, yeah, we'll do that, but it's just a one-time fee, and then like it's build and release. Or if you do want to take a rev share, it's like, and they want to keep the systems, you charge them more for the build out up front, knowing that you're losing leverage by them being in control and easily replacing you and just screwing you over, right? That's one thing. And if you are taking calls, charge the extra 10%. Setters, industry standard, get 5% for the close that they're involved in, and closers get 10% for any like cash collected that they actually sell on a call. So if you're closing, yes, you get your 20% after commissions and ad spend, but you're also going to get that 10% immediately as a closer would on cash collected. So say you sell a $5,000 program and you closed it for them and your deal is 20% rev share. After ad spend and commissions, they're not spending anything on ads yet. Say they're just on YouTube. So what it's going to look like is just after commissions. They pay you the 10% for closing, which 10% of $5,000 is $500. So you get that $500 as a closer, well, I guess after transaction fees. So, $492, whatever it ends up being. And then you subtract that from the actual revenue to come up with the final number that you're going to get 20% of. So say they end up paying you $500 off $5,000 to make it $4,500 in profit for the coach. You're going to get 25% of that profit. So now you're getting another $900. So really, you're getting paid much more, obviously, whenever you close that way, but you also maintain your leverage, and setting things up that way is extremely important so that it's easily like whenever you're trying to bring on a closer in the future, it's already an expense to them. If it's not an expense, then they're going to wonder why, like they're going to be like, well, you just keep closing. You just keep closing. Even if they don't say it straight up, it's like, they don't want to pay that extra 10% if they can just have you doing it for free. You know what I mean? So protect yourself, protect your systems with, obviously like using a sub account whenever you're doing partnerships, especially guys, if we're going to talk about the pricing options here, but these are the two pricing structures and you want to pick them based on your leverage. Okay. If you have results and you're building them something that they can keep, or like one of those two situations, you're going to be charging $2,500 upfront fee plus a rev share at like a minimum that you can easily get to, like, I don't want to get you too far ahead, but like you can charge $10,000-$15,000 for an actual build out if they're keeping the systems, or if you have results and credibility and a brand, then you can obviously charge more as well. And with your rev share with the upfront, I would say like about a 15 to 20% rev share is pretty standard. With the actual retainer model, this is the model a lot of you guys, if you're starting off, need to be using. Okay, this is an extremely proven pricing model in various different agency niches that is extremely under leveraged in the growth operating space because you haven't been able to build systems in the past within like minutes. Now you can with OpBot, but with Go High Level and Zapier and connecting everything and building out, it was taking like 20 to 40 hours. So you could have never ran this model in the past. But say you are thinking about like running a coach's offer for free. That's what 90% of growth operators do, if not more, especially when starting out. And they think like, well, if I do it this way, I can get results and then leverage it for the next client. And then 3 months goes by and you've made $0 and you still can't find a good partner and you're getting ghosted and nobody respects you. It's because you're not charging for your time. You want to at least charge something. Now, a great way to do this to go get results and close fairly easily without a big commitment is, coach, I'm going to cover all of the software expenses. We're not going to have you go buy any tools. We're just going to onboard you onto like everything for you, one easy onboarding form. We already have everything built out. We just want you to cover the software expenses so that we're not losing money with you. And that's going to be $297 a month. And then we'll go off purely commission past that, right? So you can raise this retainer over time. Like if you start hiring team or consulting more, or you just want to like risk less, or your clients get better, like you can obviously charge a retainer 3 to 5K a month plus a percentage, but the percentage doesn't kick in until after the retainer is passed. So what I mean by that, say you have a 30% rev share and a coach pays you $3,000 a month. You're not going to get that 30% until you're after, like 30% of 10K is 3K. That matches your retainer. So you're not getting paid anything extra. But the next 10K after that, you get 30% of it. So you still end up making the exact same on the rev share, but the retainer is there for protection. And you can start super small with the retainer. It's so much better. You're not getting ghosted when people pay you a retainer off the bat. Even as something as low as $297, and this is going to cover the one expense. Like if you want to go full white label and like upgrade your plan on OpBot past like the free trial or the initial agency starter plan and get full white label access, like one client for just $297 a month is going to completely pay that and take care of it. And then all your percentage is just profit. So this is an extremely under leveraged pricing offer. This is not like you will stand out offering something like this. And honestly, you should charge like a little bit more than this. You can even mix them together with a smaller upfront fee plus a retainer, or just upfront fee in general, upfront fee plus retainer plus percentage. That's really good for like a deal that you're planning on doing a long-term partnership. You believe in the offer, but they need a lot of work. It's also really good to do it that way too. So figure out your combination. If you're a brand new starter, like please stop doing $0 upfront and being confused when you get ghosted, right? Like it's just absolutely unbelievable to me and shocking, like when people are wondering why that happened to them, right? So every single client you get is going to cover the machine. Say you are a complete beginner and you go and you sign a retainer client before your actual rev share, like you're going to be break even on all your expenses as a complete business model. After you upgrade into a white label plan, off the bat with one client when you set it up this way. So literally every single commission you get paid is profit. 3 clients, this is just like showing you as you scale, which you can also charge more than $297. And this is not including upfront fees. This isn't including your rev share, but you can easily stack on 10 clients now with OpBot. And especially if you rotate to where you're fulfilling a little bit less, you're just managing systems and allowing them to use your dashboard and the systems that came in and then work as support and have like 2 calls a month as consulting. You can easily charge $297 a month for that easily, and like easily bring on 10 clients, obviously, without spending a ton of time. And just on a $297 a month plan, like you're still going to be doing $2,500 before your rev share or your closing commissions. Okay. Which obviously your rev share and your closing commissions is where you see guys explode and make a bunch of money, right? The retainer is not to make you rich, it's to make you survive and breathe, because a lot of growth operators are never going to start. A lot of growth operators aren't even going to micro commit. Like, a lot of you guys haven't downloaded a single SOP and you're just lazy. A lot of people have clicked off this video and they're not trying to, get through like an actual full 4-hour video. There's so many different stages where people quit and stop. If you just keep going and you stay consistent with the business model and you scale from here, you're like, it's just a matter of time. There's no results, no guarantee, no income claims, whatever it is. But when you work hard for a long time and you breathe while others don't, and they sign clients for free on a rev share and they don't know what they're doing and they make $0 and they get ghosted and they give up and they end up at a net loss because they still had to pay for stuff. Like, guys, this is how you breathe. This is how you scale. This is how you start small. Again, you can add upfront fees, whatever mix it is, easily to this equation. The two pitches that actually do the heavy lifting is, you're obviously getting your own dashboard, AI dashboards in general, which that's not how you want to pitch this necessarily, but AI dashboards right now, everybody's trying to build their own AI dashboard and coaches want their own AI dashboard, but they don't understand. And the people that are trying to build these themselves are idiots. Like, it seems like a great idea. So maybe idiot's not like the right term. They're just naive. They don't understand how much work actually goes into building a proper tool that works as a dashboard. And not only does, like, okay, cool, you make an AI dashboard that tracks like your go high level numbers, you didn't save time. You didn't improve or get to subtract anything from the workflow or the business. It's not a replacement, it's in addition to. You're literally building an AI dashboard to have more work, to have more software, to have more headache. It makes zero sense. Why would you do that? Especially when you can just use OpBot in general for less than the software stack that you're using, and even less than the software stack that you're using when you upgrade most of the time to a white label agency plan. Like, it makes no sense. It's going to cost you more to build the AI dashboard in most cases as well, depending on how deep you go with like API connections and stuff like that. And like, OpBot's not an AI dashboard, you know what I mean? It's very, very far from it. It's very far beyond it. OpBot's going to be over $100 million company. I'm extremely confident in that. I'm very passionate about it. As you can see, I actually got some of these today, some OpBot hats, you know what I mean? You can actually, wasn't planning on wearing this, but let's go ahead and throw on the OpBot hat for some of the video here. That looks clean, I'm not gonna lie. Let's go. So the second pitch would be, you're not signing up for anything. There's no funnel builder, no form tool, no scheduler. Like, I'm not asking you to buy all these softwares, right? I carry all that. I have it all in-house. I take care of it. I don't want you worried about software. I want you worried about content. That's how you pitch it. You're like, dude, I don't want you to worry about that. Put that on my plate. I'm just going to throw you into our systems that are built for you, and this small retainer is going to cover our expenses. And like, the rev share goes towards it too if you want. You know what I mean? You could deduct it. And if they ask like what it replaces, like, well, like what's taken care of? Everything that you need, right? Typeform, Calendly for call booking, your funnels, if you use like ClickFunnels, for example, and most of what you pay go high level for. And then you don't need to integrate tools. So like, even Zapier, you don't have to integrate Typeform and Calendly, or Calendly and go high level. Everything's built and automatically integrated. So you don't even have to understand how that works. The SOP is going to tell you a little bit about it, but like, it's unbelievably simple. I cannot express that enough. You can get the free trial and play around with it and prove it to yourself. And also, these SOPs are here to help you. So this is the pricing and pitch guide, the 2 closing pitches. Like, you can use this live on calls. You can use this however you want, guys. Like, I made these resources to not just sit here on a video and tell you guys that, you know, like this business model, like, and all of the like nitty gritty of growth operating, right? Like I can sit here and I can make a 20-hour video and it's still not going to sum it up. These documents literally replace like 10 to 15 plus hours easily inside of this video. This is basically an entire program whenever you leverage this correctly. So the video, watch it for the overview, for the understanding, for the niche things that are left out from the SOPs, from how it all comes together. I'm going to explain all of that in the video, but the SOPs are going to be your in-depth in work, what you look back on when you have questions, go through the SOPs. It's going to tell you exactly how to do everything, and obviously like teach you how to build the systems extremely easily on a free trial. Like guys, it does not get better than this. This is the best way to start growth operating in 2026 and beyond by a landslide. There's nothing else like it. Nothing else like OpBot, and nobody else can make a course like this that has results in growth operating because they want to sell you a program. I don't want to sell you a program. I want to help you build your business for completely free by making this course video for you guys and giving you all my SOPs. So now for client onboarding, the install, right? Here's the order that you're going to be going in. Your brand first, if you have white label option. If you don't have white label, it's not the end of the world. Say you get your first client, if they pay you the $297, I mean, guys, like that's the minimum you should be charging, at like bare minimum. Like that's nearly nothing, and it's kind of better. Like, I mean, honestly, it's not $297 is bare minimum, to put it simply. Okay, before we go down that rabbit hole. If you can't white label, that's fine, but they just paid you $297, so you could easily white label. But from there, you're gonna wanna verify your sending domain. So anything for like your actual email tools, the company, like everything's gonna be personalized for the coach. The SOP shows you step-by-step how to do this. I'm the only guy that can say this shit in a course where it's like, you're gonna verify and go into these details without having to like go deep into the details. Nobody talks about this stuff on YouTube, okay? I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. They save these, again, for their courses and their programs. I don't. So invite, it's literally super simple in OpBot. You just click add a sub account, and you invite as operator pays, whatever it is, and they get a branded invite email if you're on a white label, so they see your agency. Say your agency is like, you know, say it's, what's this called? Sanzo. Say you got Sanzo Coaching or Sanzo Systems, whatever it is. Your brand, your logo, your name, the link that they see, it's all going to say Sanzo Coaching, Sanzo Systems, whatever it is, inside of the invite and email if you're on white labeling. So it's literally all your in-house stuff without having to go and build stuff from scratch. Keep in mind, OpBot has like a full team behind it. It's been being built for a very long time, and it took a lot of experience from an experienced growth operator, myself, to actually build it. So there's no other tool. I cannot express this enough. There's no other tool. This has been impossible to make in the past, in my opinion, and there's no other tool like it now in the space, in anywhere, right? It's specifically built for growth operators in this business model. They do the 6-step intake. They just fill out the onboarding, and then they have to wait for approval by you, so you have time to build out all their funnels for however long it takes you, however much customization you do after the 5-minute setup. When you click build a funnel, everything's built, and you're going to see videos later in this course on that, right? The SOPs and videos of it live. So you build their funnel. Usually that's going to be on YouTube, a VSL application call page. Your CRM is going to be built and integrated. The 22-stage SOP for the actual pipeline, sales pipeline, is also in here. So make sure you get that. And obviously, like all their emails, everything like that is generated, and you can customize past that. A big problem I had was emails in the past, and OpBot completely changed that for me. So that's great. Once you go to approve their dashboard, you can restrict what they see. The tabs that I allow them to see inside of the dashboard is the leads, the calendar, their team, and also their dashboard. All the other tabs that are anything to do with data, analytics, building, sequences, automation, I keep just like to where it's only visible to me. That's a really cool feature. Again, it's built for growth operators. So like a random feature like that is only going to be on this platform. You know what I mean? So those are the tabs based on my preference of what I show the clients. And you can invite as operator pays. This is just like for any usage. Usage is like very rarely hit as of now. So this is pretty much never gonna hit. It's just like usage is like building out their funnel, but it comes with $50 worth of usage. If you're familiar with AI, $50 worth of usage is a lot. Like that's a lot, and it renews every month. So you can just send it as operator pays. Plus, they're sending you the $297 a month. Like you're covered. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, their intake literally feeds everything. So the onboarding question is going to ask them, who are you? Who do you help? What's your offer? How do you sound? Like, what's your personality, basically? How do you operate? And then AI is going to review all of that. It's going to give you what you need as an operator, and it's going to help you build out their systems end to end within 5 minutes. Once they complete the onboarding form, then you can choose what they see and approve access. Ridiculous. So what they see and what stays yours, again, what they see should be the dashboard, the leads, the calendar, the team. And what should stay yours, definitely, there's other tabs, but definitely I would say the funnels for like funnel editing, the automations, the analytics, like the deep analytics past the dashboard, and then the actual tracking should just stay to you. And you should be providing them the information or the tweaks or angle changes that you need to make to improve the data, and then let them know if it improved or worsened over X amount of period of time. So the SOP is here as well, onboarding install guide. This is what it looks like. We have literally step-by-step of setting up everything for white labeling, your sending domains, your invite, like it's all here for you guys. So I want this to be the most beneficial, helpful course in the space by far. And I'm not trying to sell like a program or upsell one-on-one. Like obviously, like if you want it, you can shoot me a DM, but that is not my goal with this video. I want to help over 1,000 operators with OpBot and this free course. So I really want you guys to leverage the SOPs and obviously the free trial, the plans, everything on OpBot. Extremely passionate about OpBot. I'm all in on it. And it's an unbelievable tool. You'll see whenever you try it, especially if you have experience with using any other software. So it's pretty ridiculous. Fulfillment wise, this is what you really want to understand this. There's 6 client archetypes. There's really a lot more than this, but these are like the 6 primary ones. You're going to have the YouTube authority. They make YouTube content. They have a make money online skill or a make money skill. And you're going to want to set up a VSL to call funnel, application call funnel, and they don't really need ad spend to start. You can get them results immediately for free. Anytime a coach wants to run ads, you can have them run ads. And again, like OpBot can help you with your ads. You can send it your meta pixel, install it on the funnel. Like if you don't understand all of this, like it's very, very easy with OpBot. OpBot will literally, you can ask OpBot in the OpBot tab and say, hey, how do I install the pixel? It'll give you a step-by-step and you can send it the pixel and it'll set it up for you as well. So again, literally a complete beginner can run this business model. If you have any questions about the course or the overview, obviously we're far from done, but just shoot me a message on Instagram, whether it's about like OpBot or the course or any questions that are raised that you don't find an SOP. The first thing I'm going to ask is if you reviewed the SOP. If it's a question that I can tell you just didn't watch the video or look into the SOP for, then I'm probably not going to like help you. But if I can tell you're genuinely passionate about trying to make money online, become a growth operator, help other skill education products, dude, like I'm more than willing to help you guys. So ad ready scaler, there's, coaches. Well, I guess we skipped. These are pretty generic concepts. We don't need to deep dive, but like some coaches are going to be on Instagram only. A lot of the times, if they don't have YouTube, you're going to have to run retargeting ads for their engagers and then run a DM funnel. These are just concepts, so just keep this in mind. You can always like report back to this video and kind of see like basically the strategy that I would do for these certain types of coaches. So for the ad ready scaler, you're obviously going to want to get an initial budget and run to cold traffic. You can obviously start with a little bit of retargeting, and then just make sure you are very, very intentional by tracking your CAC to LTV. So how much does it cost to acquire a customer? That's what CAC is. And your LTV is lifetime value. If you have a $5,000 one-time program, it's very easy to calculate. Say you spend $2,000 on ads, you got one customer and they bought for $5,000, then your CAC was $2,000, your LTV was $5,000, so you have a 2.5x ROAS, right? Return on ad spend. So your CAC to LTV is a 2.5. Obviously, there's other fees and other details mixed in there. If they're an expert with no audience, this is going to be very, very hard to scale them without running ads, and it's going to have to be to cold traffic. So you're going to have to really dial in a VSL application call funnel here that heavily qualifies, introduce a lot of friction, and is extremely clear. Very, very clear, like unbelievably clear. Or you can run a webinar. Volume coach, if they have a big, broad audience and a price-sensitive niche, then like a low ticket and an ascension funnel could make sense. Legacy operator, earning on duct tape systems, migrate, automate first, and then scale second, obviously. So you want to every single week, a lot of people like, what do I do as an operator past, the build out? Obviously you're handling a lot of sales management, team management, but also handling data. And the first thing that you have to do when reading data is track data. Obviously all your data is tracked within OpBot. Tracking was another massive issue that I had early on as a growth operator. Like I just wanted the team to track it in Excel. I didn't track it in Excel. The coach didn't really track it. Our closers, the setters, and we got incorrect data. Incorrect data can ruin your business. You can literally change something that was working to something that doesn't work and not even know if you're not tracking the data, right? So read the data, find the leak, and change one thing and then report it. So you don't want to change too much at once. If it's obvious to you, big intuition, whatever it is, like then you can change more than one thing, but try to change as little at once as possible. You can go in and you can check your funnel insights, see your visitors to call to action, your leads, booked, closed, revenue, which funnel is performing the best for you. If you have multiple, your drop off per question inside of your application, inside of funnel insights on OpBot. And then you have lead scoring, which is going to give you points based on answers to see how good a lead is. And then that will give them certain tags, and also, you can direct them down certain pathways and customize their journey based on their answers of an application. That way, especially if the coach is taking their own calls, you can get it to where they're not taking calls from people that aren't serious. That's super important. You also have AI call prep that is going to give a breakdown of the calls like application and what the platform knows about the lead based on the offer and what they said. So it gives a good brief on what you can open with, on what potential objections they're going to have, and then a good closing statement. You're also going to have your 3-sentence report. And you can also communicate to OpBot and ask it questions like, hey, where do you see the leak in our business based on what you know? And it can review every single aspect of your business because it's all in one platform built only for what growth operators need. So flip these on, they recover revenue that already exists. Obviously, if you have abandoned applications, you want to make sure not to leave those out. Chase submitted but didn't book. So like if they submitted an application but don't book, obviously you want to have a setter, which initially is going to be you, which we're going to talk about a little bit here in a second. And then you want your lead scoring toggle. Honestly, it's pretty insane on OpBot and it's automated. You just have to turn it on and it takes care of it for you. So you don't have to do anything like complicated routing or anything like that. All of these three things are not like from new traffic. It's money that's just sitting in their pipeline that they haven't capitalized on. They usually don't have a sales pipeline. If they do, great. If they don't, hopefully they have an email list to where you can like follow up with these leads. And this is like obviously good for initial results if you can leverage these as well. The SOP for fulfillment is right here. It's going to go over all of these different archetypes. So again, you have this as you go, where to go to actually read the data, how to actually build this from start to finish. Again, all these SOPs, like you're going to be able to build with the SOP, and I'm also going to show you guys video live of me building to show how simple it is in this course video. Okay, so you should genuinely watch this and have your business set up. You should have like structure being built or at least initiated. So next, the pipeline. I start with 22 stages with a timer on every single stage. There's actually an exception of a couple stages that don't have a timer, but there's 5 stage groups and there's 22 total stages. There's lead intake and nurture. There's booked and showed, which is like they booked a call and showed. There's proposal and close, and then there's no show recovery, and then there's of course just your disqualified leads. So how the clock reads on every single lead, speed to lead. If it's a speed to lead category, for example, this is always going to be your new leads, right? So if someone newly books a call, if they newly fill out an application, you're going to be placing them as a speed to lead and say that they will be like needed to be contacted within 15 minutes. Now, the really cool thing about OpBot is you can actually simply type in 15 minutes on the actual CRM pipeline, and there will be a timer that counts down on all those leads. And if a setter or you as a setter doesn't hit that lead within 15 minutes, then it tracks into your private analytics as an agency, and you can see how consistently your setter's actually contacting the leads within the window that you set. 15 minutes is pretty long. It should be less. It should be like 3 minutes or less. Like you need to hit leads immediately when they come in. Faster, the better. Windows, like say it's follow-up stage 1 to follow-up stage 2. Again, the full breakdown is inside the SOP. But for example, if you have a stage that's new lead and then you contacted, like this new lead's now dragged over to a contacted stage, which just means a setter or somebody texted that lead or messaged them, got in contact with them, they're contacted. The timer is going to start. We need to follow up with this person in 16 to 25 hours. So literally just like a day later around a similar time, they need to be contacted again. And then you have your actual scoreboard of seeing like how often it happens. This is the actual sales pipeline SOP. Again, like it's going to tell you the actual time that you can go ahead and put on each stage. It's going to show you all the different stages that you can build out. And then it's also going to tell you exactly how to set up this pipeline. And you just follow it step by step. Guys, it's really, really simple. I show the breakdown later in the course video of me setting up a full funnel end to end in 5 minutes live. So you just take these SOPs and you just go to work with them, and you're going to be so far ahead because nobody else has done this in the space. I don't know how many times I have to say that, right? Like nobody gives away SOPs like this on how to actually do growth operating. They don't actually give value like this. They just yap. Okay. And yes, I'm yapping a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I'm definitely talking. It's definitely a long video, and I'm hoping that you notice there's not really any cuts here because I know what I'm talking about. The structure's here, and I'm giving you everything away for free and nothing to hide. So I don't need to like cut out certain things, right? So for marketing, we have an actual full marketing SOP. Whether it comes to organic systems, channel priority, what to actually do with certain like content angles. Obviously, like the main thing you want to look for with our outreach is the fact that YouTube converts the most customers on average. YouTube is pretty cracked as a social media platform. So that's why we do our outreach through YouTube. Okay, that's going to be the easiest way to get results. For hiring, when you get to that point, which what I mean is when you're starting off, you're going to be the solo side of the ladder. You're setting, so if you get an application, you need to immediately text that lead. And any calls that are booked, the coach needs to take their own calls. If they're 100% opposed to it, then you implement what we talked about earlier with the 10% as a closer. You now become a closer for 10%. Stays longer than feels comfortable. This is where you learn what, yeah. So this is really going to teach you a lot about the business, being in the trenches, but also you're not going to be able to bring on a good setter or a good closer before certain revenue points. So your first hire will be a setter though, and really a hybrid, which I'll talk about that as well. So the first hire is going to be a setter. This really comes down to volume as well as like OTE, like how much can they make on the offer. Once you're doing like 30, I would say even like $10,000 a month, $10 to $30,000 a month, you can probably bring on a setter. They're not going to be the best setter in the world, but they're going to be able to send messages, especially if you give them a clear like preview of what they're supposed to do, which you can use the SOP, the pipeline SOP. I actually send that to my setters. Like, these are the expectation. These are what the stages are for, why they're here. All you have to do is drag and drop based on what you do with the lead. And we expect it within these time windows and we're tracking it. So it holds you accountable and we know it. And it just gives them like full transparent, like expectations, right? Once you hire a setter, you can honestly, if they're skilled, they can be a hybrid, which is just a setter that also takes calls. You know, like it's just somebody who messages the leads and takes the calls, especially at lower volume. This is insanely, or at least should be common. It's insanely common for me. Like I'm always bringing on hybrids, and they're not going to call themselves hybrids, but you're just going to have to find a closer that's willing to set or a setter that is wanting to close. You know what I mean? Someone that can do both. Once you hire a closer, your offer needs to be doing at least $30,000 to $50,000 a month. I would really say that that's the bare minimum floor. That leaves the opportunity to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month as a closer. Usually you're going to want to be making like $100,000 a month before you bring on a closer. If the coach can close these, then like to 30 to 50K, that might only be like 5 to 10 total sales per month. Depending on the program, or if you have downsells, cross sells, upsells, whatever it is. This isn't too much volume for the coach to handle. But this is like, you can only bring on a closer when the offer supports it, right? So you're going to have to be able to pay them a commission. You want them to be committed. You want them to be a part of the team. So you can't bring them on at 10K a month. Like they're just, well, they're not really, unless you give them a higher percent, which I guess is an option, but then the margins are getting cut thin for both the coach and yourself. So for the sequence, you can send the DM sequence, follow-up timers, the pipeline board and its stages, the booking links, and calendar coverage. For you, what stays yours is like, you know, the offer, the pricing, diagnosis, the weekly review and client report, and the client relationship itself. So like you're not handing off any of these over here. You want to be the person in charge of this for leverage and to actually have like a clear role. But whenever you hire these guys, this is what you're actually handing off and taking off of your plate. So the DM sequence, the follow-up timers, all the manual work, like obviously they get paid a percent for that, right? The SOPs for the hiring are right here as well. It's going to take you through the ladder, the actual guide, and how to actually build this. So for documentation, 2 months from now, this is like your pricing power. Okay, this is how you scale as a growth operator. You need to screenshot your wins. If you're working with a coach, screenshot every single sale in the beginning, like every single sale that y'all get, every text that you get, like everything. But don't like leave their personal details out of it if they don't want that. Try to get testimonials at every, like once you get the build out set up, hey, can you shoot me a testimonial of like what you feel about the build out? I know you don't make it results oriented since it's just like the build out, but can you just like say your thoughts on camera basically? First sale, like, hey, can you shoot a testimonial about the first sale? And like, just keep getting testimonials, as many as possible. So definitely save your wins, your before and after, like make sure you take a picture of like what their followers, their content, their funnels, their systems, like their numbers in general, like track the before and after of everything. And then obviously like you can keep some DMs. Also, like I'm pretty sure we're going to jump into this, but you need to make sure to be eventually posting content as a growth operator. Personal brands are incredibly powerful and they heavily set you apart in this space. So for payment processing, again, like for you're going to be using commas, which I'll put a link in the description to get signed up. This used to be called Fan Basis, if you're familiar with that. Same business. It's just an easy way to process your money, and they're likely not going to close down your accounts and stuff. I have some experience with that with like Stripe in the past. They held my money for over 2 years, so that was obviously kind of buns. But commas, they've never done that to me. I'm pretty sure they've never done that to anybody. Don't quote me on that though. For the coach, they can also use commas, a separate account, and they can add you and the closer, the setter to the dashboard and limit access to the tabs to where y'all can see like revenue, obviously, but like not be able to withdraw money. So make sure like you don't let your closers be able to withdraw their bank account. But the coach can also use like WOP for their payment processing. So these are my two recommendations, I guess. I don't really use WOP all that much for my coaches even. These coaches, they never buy software, right? So have the billing match. The retainer collects before the build. The retainer is paid upfront. It's a commitment, and it covers the platform seat from day one. So get this immediately. The operator pays for billing. This is just like you inviting them onto your account, right? And then rev share runs off the actual dashboard. So everything needs to be tracked. Your tracked revenue is the source of truth. There's no like spreadsheets that you're going to need to handle. No, like you should know what you did every single day, every month, and every number should be on the screen for both of you, right? Daily operator task is going to be your outreach block. Build the list, send, never mix the two, never skip the block, even in your best month. You're gonna work the board top down. So overdue first, all the leads. Again, this is if you're still like setting as an operator in the beginning. You're gonna want to actually go through the list, do your outreach, and hit your personal outreach, even like in your best month. If you make $20,000 in a month, and you have 2 clients as a growth operator, you should still be doing outreach, and especially be building your personal brand by leveraging those results. And then like obviously hit your own stages, the coach's stages, reply to new leads fast, whether it's for you or the coach, and then your one real client message. So the loop per client is a lot of what you're going to be handling is sales management and the pipeline, setting in the beginning, hiring on setters and closers, data review, making changes within the funnel to improve over time, report it very simply to them, and then obviously like team review. So going through like setter metrics, like coaches aren't going to know like what rate setters should be doing certain things at. You'll get a feel for it like over time, but really for the pipeline stages, it should be obviously as close to 100% of the time the setter's doing their work within the window that's set. The pipeline SOPs and the SOPs in general make all of this so much easier. There's so much context and step-by-step within the SOPs that it handles like a ton of the questions that you would have that nobody talks about, right? So genuinely leverage those and never ever stop onboarding clients. The failure mode isn't losing clients, it's getting comfortable with 3 and then stopping outreach. And honestly, there's a lot of operators that dream about hitting it big with 1 or 2 clients and thinking it's less work by having less clients. And like the more an offer makes, the more work you're going to have to put into it. They're also paying you more, which puts you more at risk. Okay, like obviously you help them get there. They don't care. if they continuously are paying you more and more for the growth, they're going to expect you to work harder and harder and do more and more within the business to make yourself valuable. The people you're going to work with, like some of them seem like cool dudes, it's going to be cutthroat a lot of the time. So if you get them to $100,000 a month from zero and like they're very happy with it, and that was the goal, you smashed the goal by 3x, whatever it was, they end up paying you $15,000, $20,000, whatever it is, and they might cut you 3 days later. Like that happens. That's happened to me too. So shout out to the one goofy coach that I've scaled from 0 to 100,000 in 3 months organically and ended up switching up on me. That was pretty crazy, but it's reality of the business model, right? So that was a while back. That was like a while back, but that obviously left a mark on me. On one, made me take a step back and look at what I could improve, and then also look at the people that I'm working with and kind of like make sure I'm understanding certain signals that I'm getting and trying to understand people, because at the end of the day, if you're a growth operator, you want to build long-term relationships. You want to be working with people for years. That's where growth happens, is getting someone from 150K to 200K, adding 50K of revenue at that level is much easier than going from 0 to 50K a month. So long-term relationships are rewarded for everybody in this game. So you want to work with loyal people. So that's 10 documents. It's the whole playbook. You have your growth operating overview, Instagram profile, all these SOPs. Again, just join the free Telegram and you can grab all of these for 100% free. The link's in the description below. And if you don't have Telegram, you don't want to use it for some reason, like I'll send you the Google Drive with all the SOPs if you just DM me on Instagram. And then for actual OpBot, you can go ahead and start your free trial today. This is what the landing page looks like at the time of recording. You can just go to packages or scroll down and you can see you have your 14-day free trial, guys. So you can literally get all of these systems set up today and have everything completely covered and like be rolling. Again, take micro commitments. A free trial is a micro commitment. A download of SOPs, a micro commitment. Your first outreach message is a micro commitment. Building your profile, like just take it a step at a time, but take action and take it today and take it as soon as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed the course up to this point. I hope you guys enjoy me going into detail and showing some things live from here on. But I look forward to you guys just actually implementing stuff from this course, because that's how I really want to set myself apart in this video, apart from other operators, is giving you guys resources for completely free that genuinely help you a bunch. So keep killing it. Let's go. I'm revealing exactly how I launch and scale clients faster than anybody else in the industry. And it's really all because of one tool. I've canceled Go High Level, Calendly, Zapier, ClickFunnels, Typeform, and a bunch of other different softwares that amounted to over $1,500 a month in expenses. And now I just use this one software, OpBot, which I am the founder of OpBot. I actually created this as an internal tool for myself about 8 to 9 months ago. 2 months into it, I decided to start taking active users and opening it up to initial sprint groups of growth operators to use the tool to scale their clients. And for the past 6-7 months, don't do it. For the past 6-7 months, they've been honestly a blessing to have. And we've taken on more users. These users have been extremely helpful to the platform. They've been giving immense amount of feedback. And the platform's really gotten to a place where, it's very, very established, reliable, and it's better than anything else in the space. And it's literally built specifically for growth operators by a growth operator. I understand the business model very well. I've been doing it for years. I was an online coach doing over $30,000 a month before I was even a growth operator. Spent over $40,000 paying different agencies to learn their systems. Then learned more about systems, became a growth operator, and made it my entire income in my full-time job, or I guess business, right? Same thing. But you're going to have your entire custom dashboard here. I'm in a sub account that I created for the purpose of this demo. You're going to see your potential bottlenecks. You're going to see your funnel comparison, your conversions, like everything that you need is here. Okay. Why is this important? Right now, you're probably not tracking properly and you're probably using a bunch of different software tools if you're an established growth operator or a coach, right? If you're a coach, this works for you too. Obviously, there's a coach plan on OpBot, but all of these data, this data is tracked for you automatically by automation and by agents. Okay. And it's all reviewed by agents as well. Now you can also talk to your CEO OpBot, which is the master agent. All agents have a specific role inside of OpBot. They communicate to OpBot. You can communicate to OpBot and learn how to improve your coach's business. Now, if you're an operator, you can white label. As I've white labeled OpBot, I add my agency logo. I don't take advantage of the full white label ability of OpBot because OpBot is my software that I created. So I still like it to be visible to the users and coaches that I have on the platform as well. But the reason why OpBot is genuinely so important and why I was able to cancel all of my different softwares is it acts all in one. And not only does it build your systems and your funnels and your sales tracking all for you, but it also has highly advanced features that newer growth operators do not implement and are not capable of implementing pre-made, right? So within 3 minutes, realistically, 4 to 8 minutes, if I'm sending the onboarding, adding a sub account, the coach fills out the onboarding form. They have to wait for approval for me to approve their account. I get to select what they have visibility to. So if I don't want them to see their funnels tab, I just want them to see their dashboard, their team, and their sales pipeline and their calendar, then I can set it to that, which is what I do, right? But when they fill out their onboarding form, I literally just go to build a new funnel. There's a bunch of different funnel types, but VSL application call is very common, right? I'm going to name this funnel Fun Live because we're having a fun live demo here. I have a placeholder VSL at the bottom. I'm going to go to choose template. You can upload your custom templates that you make on Claude, ChatGPT, any funnel maker. You just get the HTML upload. So if you already have a landing page design that you like, you just upload it here. I'm going to select this template though. And when I click build this funnel, this is where OpBot separates itself from anything else in the industry. This is where it sets itself apart as a tool, right? Building your funnel. This isn't a landing page builder, okay? This isn't building your AI dashboard. This is fully building your business end to end. It's analyzing your brand and your design system. It's setting up your sales pipeline and your CRM, designing your landing page, your VSL page. It's building your qualification application form out, your booking and thank you pages for this specific funnel, and writing your email sequences. And I'm going to show you all of this, but it's not just building it. It's integrating it all together so that it actually works immediately. So as soon as I build this funnel, I'll go ahead and show you guys what all has been created and that it works right away. So you can launch a coach in 4 to 8 minutes. I built this tool because how annoying it was to set up coaches. It would take 20 to 40 hours minimum, not including a lot of the automations that are included in OpBot. OpBot has made me a better growth operator directly. Honestly, one of my weak areas as a growth operator has always been emails. I don't want to set up emails. I don't want to write emails. OpBot completely builds out your emails in multiple different sequences automatically. Okay. So all I did was I built this funnel here. And again, it doesn't just write the emails. It automatically is sending them. It's integrated into the system. Okay. View funnel. The funnel is already here. We're going to take a look at that here in a second, but I want to show you guys inside of leads, your funnel, your Fun Live funnel, your CRM has already been created. It's already sorted. It already works. So if someone books a call, there's no Zapier that you have to set up that moves them to book call. If they fill out a form, they're going to be a new lead. If they then book a call, it's going to move them automatically to book call. Automatically, okay? All of this is completely created for you and integrated automatically. If you don't understand how insane that is, you're probably not experienced enough
in info. Your calendar's already connected and integrated. We also do allow integration to other calendar tools, email tools. You can connect your Zoom, your Google Calendar, everything that you would need. We're partnered with all the above. Okay. Then you have your tracking for Instagram descriptions, bios, YouTube descriptions. But your email, if we go into the actual Canvas view, we're just going to show a node view. We go to the Fun Live funnel. We can go and we see that our leads that book a call, there's an automation for them. Applications that abandon the form, there's an automation for them. So partial submits. No call booked, there's an application for them. And all of these funnels are already made for you, and you just click on them and you can customize them. Now, if we go back up to the list view, this is another way you can look at your funnels if you have multiple. If you don't like the node view, you can come here, say, hey, I want to fix my 24-hour reminder. Then you can go in and customize it. Again, these emails are crazy. Like, these sound personal. They're built specifically for you and your offer that is based on the onboarding form. There's a ton of elite prompting and knowledge and code that is backing this, that builds emails, writes emails, builds copy that a lot of you guys are just not capable of in general. And if you do believe that you're better at one skill, then you can go and customize it. Okay. But this is literally saving 20 to 40 hours of setup. Easy. Not to mention all the agents that go through and actively work in the business for you and the coach and send you reports and recommendations on how to scale. None of this is in any other tool that you guys are using. And you can try, there's people that try to build these AI dashboards now. Those are hot. They don't work. They look cool sometimes where it's like, oh, it says like his leads and his calls booked. And the next thing you know, you become a full-time developer and you're spending 8 hours a day on a dashboard and it's just constantly breaking. You don't understand that the dashboard that's created by AI is just an addition tool. It's not eliminating a part of the process. This eliminates every other software that you need to use as a growth operator or online coach. So let's go ahead and see the funnel that generated and show that it works. First of all, you can go into edit and you're going to see the landing page, the application page, thank you page, booking page, and not qualified is already created. You can talk to the AI to edit any part of the landing page, the exact template that we made, the VSL placeholder, the full funnel is here. And you can go in, you can see all of this was just created in a few minutes. The CRM is built and integrated. So if I go to this website, this landing page, and I fill out this application form that was just created, I don't have to go to Zapier and connect it to anything. People can book calls and fill this application right now. And agents review their application, deciding on whether they're a qualified or unqualified lead, giving them a lead score, routing them wherever you want on certain calendars. You can do multi-calendar. Regardless, the full funnel is here. Okay. Full booking. You're not qualified. Thank you page. And again, you can just talk to the AI and tell it to remove or add whatever you want. Super easy. You can add your custom domains, or you can just use a .opbot domain. But I'm going to show you guys that this is not only built, but I don't have to go on Zapier or in automations on Go High Level to connect the emails to this or build them out or build the automation. I can go click preview here. Landing page again, like this is just a template. You can upload any landing page that you want and it's going to customize the page to your offer based on like the design. You can also use exact copies. That's obviously an option, but the landing page, again, I don't have to go and say or connect. For example, if you're using ClickFunnels, you have to paste your Typeform link in the button. You don't even have to do something as little as that. You don't have to create the Typeform initially. They're very good when they're generated, but you can also customize them as needed. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to use fake information here. Three, and I'm going to show you how insane this is. Okay. So if I go through and I start clicking random stuff, or I just blow this off, continue. So I just submitted an unqualified application. And if you notice, if I go into the actual funnel, automatically these leads have been deemed not qualified. I've submitted a fake email, fake number. If someone does not take their application serious, you can have them routing. You can change the lead score, but the lead score that's dictated and decided by OpBot initially is, again, it's good. Like, it caught this fake application. If it was a real application, it's sending me to call booking, and it's going to send it to the actual funnel and the CRM. If I go into the CRM that was built, as you can see, did I connect anything? There's no cuts in this video. This is raw. Okay. I didn't cut anything from this video. The CRM is already integrated. If I booked a call, they would have automatically been dragged over to book a call. As you can see, this says a cold lead. It says it came in less than a minute ago. The score is 10. It tells you what day they came in, their email, their name. You can click on it and look at the information that I'm going to get from this immediately. Name, email, number, their time zone, what time it is for them right now. It is 11:14 for me right now. Their lead score, and an AI assessment. This lead shows multiple disqualifying signals, exploratory mindset, they're just exploring, critical fiction. So it says they gave a gibberish answer to the critical friction question, ASDG, high stated urgency, conflicts with low commitment signals. It already is on that axe. You know what I mean? You can enter your follow-up dates, your team tracking, your revenue, assign it to different setters and closers, and then you can see all their form answers if they opted into SMS and their entire activity timeline. This is all created, again, in 4 minutes for you. So you will be better than 99% of the growth operators on one click of the button. And that goes for online coaches as well. You can use this independent from an agency, and you don't need an operator, right? I really want to stop saying right so many times. I rewatched one of my videos before chopping it up the other day, and I said it like 40,000 times in a video. It was crazy. But again, the fact that it builds all of this for you is great. You can go have AI build for you. When you're watching me build out the funnel, AI can build me a funnel. But can AI build you the funnel, build you the 5-step sequence, connect it and integrate it with the CRM to where it automatically tracks from the landing page, gives you lead scoring, routing, writes your application questions, has call booking. You can add your team members, your calendar. You have integrations and API access to dozens of other softwares as needed where you see fit to make adjustments or add extensions. No, you cannot do this with AI, okay? Not in a reasonable amount of time either. This has been under development with active users for, again, over 8 months. I use this myself every single day. Anything that I feel like a growth operator needs because I run into it on this platform, I get it coded into the software and improved on a daily basis. So why is this important? And who is this for? Obviously, it's for other growth operators as well. It's also for coaches. Why would you use this? Because majority of the time, it's a cheaper option than using the tech stack that majority of successful growth operators use. But it's not like if you're worried about a few $100, then this product's probably not for you anyways, right? So we can scratch that one off even. If you value your time at more than $3 an hour, this tool is going to be worth it for you from just the time it saves you alone, not to mention how quickly you can turn around and launch a client, as well as quality control plays a massive factor on why you should use this tool. It's going to be better in a lot of categories than you, especially as if you've been operating for a year or two. You know what I mean? Depending on how many clients you have, OpBot is a better operator than you. As hard as it is to hear, it was a better operator than me. And I'm okay accepting that as I've used it consistently. It's just better. It writes the emails. I don't. It creates multiple different automations for the emails. That was something that I was lazy with, if I'm being honest. it took me a while to even learn the importance of a CRM. And I learned it from one of Cardinal Mason's ex-closers. He showed me like what their back-end system looked like. And I realized I wasn't doing enough as a growth operator. And that was a while ago. Okay. A lot of you guys are probably in that situation where you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't understand yet why this is so important to you and the potential of change that it could have for your business, then that's probably a bad sign, right? Obviously, you can see one lead was created, so it's automatically tracked in the dashboard. Again, everything's automated without you having to automate it or do any work, okay? I almost dropped a right there, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say right. And by avoiding saying right, I'm going to say right 4 times in a row right there again, so that I don't say it on accident. I used all those on purpose. But again, this tool saves time, usually a cheaper option, increases the base at what your performance is going to be. You have a proper onboarding process. Everything's professional. It's white labeled, and it's going to continue improving over time without you having to do anything. That is one of the biggest reasons as well to get on this platform. Go High Level is not going to make adjustments with new technology as needed for growth operators. They have 80,000 plus minimum different businesses that are in different niches and operate in different ways on their platform. They can't cater to growth operators or coaches. Nope, not going to do it. I almost said it. But OpBot does. OpBot caters to growth operators and coaches, to info products. That's what I love. I'm passionate about systems. I'm passionate about online coaching. This is what it was built for. And again, I am the founder of OpBot. If you have questions, DM me on Instagram, carson.queck. It's in the description below. Join the free Telegram, drop some voice notes, some free sauce that is outside of like business and info most of the time, more like health related, fitness, living, diet, eating, stuff like that. And if you want to use OpBot, I'm going to put the link in the description. You can go ahead, sign up. We don't do free trials. The tool is honestly much cheaper than what it should be right now already. So consider that a trial. But if you have anything while you're using the platform that you potentially feel like it could be an improvement to the platform, or like something you want added that you don't see in this video, I didn't go over all the features. Obviously, I didn't click on all the tabs. There's a ton of other features as well. But say there's a very specific like type of automation that you like to build out, just let me know and I can get it coded and developed into the actual platform without you having to do anything. Okay. So for the subscription, you're going to save time, save money. You're going to be leveraging AI inside of the business, and you're going to get constant improvements as AI continues to improve while not having to do anything. And you're going to have a higher baseline for the product that you build for your coaches. Those are the use cases, at least the bigger ones for OpBot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, if you have any questions, shoot me a DM. This is the exact content framework that I use to scale info offers, 100% organic, but it also works extremely well alongside with ads, right? So this framework is really what I've been studying for the past few years, but in the past few weeks, couple months alone, I've really decided to deep dive into it. And this is the thing that's going to define the next years of your business, whether you're a growth operator or agency helping coaches, or you yourself, you are a coach or consultant, right? And what most people have with their content is a system for getting attention. They're not really struggling getting views. They get leads. They're even booking calls. But what they don't have is a system for actually generating cash. And this all comes down to traffic versus conversion, okay? Which leads to 2 questions. How do I get traffic and how do I get buyers? To break down each of these, I give a very extreme example on like both sides of this spectrum, right? So most coaches and consultants more so lean towards traffic, okay? Which means
they're going to be primarily on Instagram, if not only on Instagram. There's a ton of coaches that are purely on Instagram. They pretty much refuse to get on YouTube, right? And their content looks good and their content resonates with a lot of viewers. Maybe they post a lot of Yap content and they have people that genuinely like them and agree with their stances. But the problem is, although they're getting a lot of leads, they're not actually making any money. And every time they do get a lead, 9 times out of 10, the leads are an absolute waste of time. It's almost to the point where you would rather not have them, right? This is especially going to be a problem when you have a niche offer or a high ticket offer. Your conversion is going to be absolutely terrible, right? And for the extreme for conversion of getting buyers, you're going to see a coach or an operator that is almost purely on YouTube, if not purely on YouTube, and they're making niche breakdown videos, client results. They have zero presence outside of YouTube. They have, since they're doing niche breakdown videos or client results, their view count is much lower, which means their lead flow is much lower, but their conversion makes up for it because every lead that hits them up is like almost their ICP in an automatic close, right? These are the guys that can sell 5-figure high ticket packages and get away with it pretty easily, right? So both come back to your content and they're both different, but they're both extremely important to your business. I'm going to give you a breakdown of how to actually tell whether your offer or your coach's offer needs to lean more towards the attention scale or the conversion scale. And first of all, think of these four separate examples as just a scale, right? So on the right side in green, you have your actual conversion content. In the left, you have your attention content. The circle is your ICP. This red box, your highest potential revenue. And the plus sign is your actual offer price. Now, if you look at the example, the first thing that you notice is your offer price and your ICP are always aligned. Now, this example is specifically set up currently for immediate like launch or getting results as fast as possible. Okay. So what you see is ICP sophistication is left to right. So in first example, your ICP is right down the middle. Okay. So maybe you're not selling to like, say, for example, you have like a fitness offer. Maybe you're not selling to business owners, but you're also not selling to like anybody that will reach out, right? Like maybe you're doing like, you know, men in their 30s or something, or men for fat loss, you know, like you're kind of just in the middle. You notice your offer price lands in the range of mid-ticket as well, right? But what you see is your highest potential revenue that you could generate for the business actually leans on the side of conversion. So at immediate launch, when you first start making content, right, which I'm going to give a breakdown of each growth method to use for attention and conversion to actually get good results. But as you see, you need your content to start exactly where and be in alignment with your offer price and your ICP, right? So all your content needs to be 50-50 attention conversion, and your offer needs to be a mid-ticket, like 1 to 3K type of offer, right? Which this is not a good place to be. Like you've all heard, you know, that you want to be on like one of more of the extremes. You don't want to be like a true extreme with how the example we had earlier of like how your business is set up, but you would rather be able to sell high ticket or just sell to like the masses, right? As you see though, your highest potential revenue is actually leaning on the side of conversion. So what happens over time if you are selling mid-ticket is you need to climb up the ladder to continue to scale, which means posting more conversion content. And instead of hitting your ICP, you actually need to open up to an actual target addressable market, your TAM, right? So like you need to go from a specific person to a bigger audience, right? Which means, yes, you're going to have to get more attention, but your conversion content is going to be what actually drives your highest potential revenue, because now your offer maybe has a little bit less alignment, but you also need to go up the pricing scale, right? So you're just targeting more people and charging more. that's the only way that you're going to scale with a mid-ticket offer is like try to move up the ladder, change your ICP up a little bit, and try to just, again, move up the ladder in all situations. Because again, you want to be on one side of the spectrum. And in my personal opinion, like being on the side of high ticket rather than low ticket is much better, right? And if you have purely attention, or, you know, like if you have purely attention here, then your content needs to be purely for attention. Your ICP is like, this would be like B2C for something extremely like broad that almost anyone could benefit from. So your content needs to start on the side of purely getting attention, right? So what this scale would actually look like is more like, oh, this is not gonna, it's actually gonna look more like this, but I would like to drag this blue over the green. Picture this whole left side as blue, right? So your content's actually going to look like this, where your scale is heavily on the side of low sophistication, high attention. And again, your offer needs to align with your ICP. Your offer, your content, and your ICP all need to be in alignment when you're first trying to grow a personal brand or get an offer off the ground. But again, what you notice is your actual highest potential revenue is leaning more towards the middle of the scale, right? Because at a certain point, yes, you need mass amount of attention, but again, you're going to need to implement more conversion into your business, which we're going to go over the two examples again, how to exactly like separate the two, and the two literally step-by-step examples that I would do for each, right? Which everyone's going to be different. And I wish I could break it down specifically for each and every one of your offer, which I could, just not in this video. If you want that, just book a call in the description below. But if your ICP sophistication is the most high, then your content needs to be in alignment with it, right? Your highest potential revenue is pretty much already there in terms of like your actual offer. So the reason why this is good is you don't need to continue to move up the spectrum in terms of offer price. I mean, like you can, and most people do, but like you stay in high ticket, right? So maybe you go from like charging 8,000 to like 11,000. Okay. Like you're still high ticket. You're still moving up the spectrum as well though, right? When you initially launch a product, again, all of your content needs to be conversion-based content if you want to start to get sales. Now, it's going to be a lot choppier if you're doing this because your views and leads are going to be lower, and it may take some time to get conversions. But what you actually want to do with your content in this scenario is start to move down towards the attention, but not in terms of volume. Again, all of these examples, you want to maintain where your content starts, that volume, but you want to add volume to back that volume, right? So what I mean by that is if you're on the sophistication side, your growth method, which we're going to break down, is again, it's conversion based, okay? But every single time you're launching one of these offers, you need to be focusing on one platform, okay? So for conversion, what we're going to break down is that YouTube is the go-to. So for example, if you're making you have a consistent schedule and you end up following the method that I show you here in a second, that is the growth method for YouTube, for info offers, eventually you're going to need to not start posting different videos on YouTube, which I've tested, and it's not the move whatsoever. You're just going to confuse the people that you're actually trying to sell to. What you need to do is take on another platform, maintain your actual, like your content strategy, your positioning, and just like leave it how it is, but add a different platform. And that's where you can start adding more attention to drive this and funnel people back into your YouTube in this example for more conversion, right? So you don't get the attention when you're selling to the most sophisticated buyer by polluting your primary revenue stream, okay? What you need to do is either, another platform or ads, more for attention and bring them into the system that is already working for you, right? Again, similar example is if you land kind of in the middle of conversion, sophistication. Again, you just always want to move up the ladder, okay? And everything on launch is in alignment. And again, same thing. If you're on the extreme for low, which was this example until I brutalized it, you want to maintain, which we're about to go into the growth methods, where Instagram is much, much better, like I said, for traffic and attention. YouTube is much, much better for conversion. So when you're on the ultra low spectrum, you can start making conversion content after you start your content and optimize for where you're at on the scale, vice versa for conversion. So the actual growth methods that you want to be looking at, first of all, for attention, this would be especially if you're in transformation niches, which is like the outcomes, a personal change. There's not a direct cash return. So if you're in fitness, dating, confidence boosting, health, looks maxing, the buyer is measuring their success and how they look, feel, or live, not like how much money is hitting their bank account, right? So for this example, you're going to want to use the Instagram growth method, okay? So Instagram is the only platform that you're focusing on, okay? Now, the steps that you want to take are, first of all, a clean profile picture that pretty much goes without being said. You want to show your face, and you want to have a highlight that is who you are and what you actually do, right? So you want to take people through a story, anywhere from like 5 to 10 slides about how you got to where you are, start resonating with the viewer, and start building authority, okay? You're also going to want a pin post that does something similar, and your actual grid. Again, both of these are for like your breakdown and your journey. The actual grid, where is like when they first open your Instagram profile, the initial images they see, that needs to be aesthetic, maintain authority, and it needs to also be informative in terms of, especially with the pin post, because there is two different tactics in terms of like how you have your grid. One is that you have only images, which is hard for it to be informative. So the pin post is a little bit more important. And then two is you actually attach your reels to the grid, which I'm about to talk about here in a second, with a new addition to Instagram that you can actually like keep the aesthetic of your grid, but also have your reels there for information. Now, with your actual reels that you're posting, you want these to be case studies, personal results, informative, but you also want to mix in some Yap content. Again, this is more for attention. So you want to implement Yap content, but how you do it is, and by Yap content, I mean just like talking to the camera about like broader things, just trying to resonate and connect with people. It doesn't have to be specifically about your niche, right? You do this by using trial reels. Okay. So your reels initially that you're posting are pretty informative. They're your results, they're case studies, and your trials, you're just spamming Yap content, right? You can test hook variations and everything for your case studies, personal results. But with your trials, you want to absolutely spam Yap content. Like you want to get to 10 trials posted per day, testing different things. This is one, going to bring in a ton of new followers, but two, it's going to allow you to take the best performers and put them on your actual, your reels page or your main grid. Then you want to also leverage your stories, which is like your day to day. You want to show that you're actually like a person. You want to show more case studies, more proof. And this is where you're going to be making most of your CTAs as well. Okay. So you want a clear bio, a DM CTA inside of your bio, a link to YouTube for Instagram. But again, you're only focused on Instagram, but I highly encourage you to just make one YouTube video that's at least 30 minutes that is going to really help push the needle in terms of people have to watch a certain amount of your content to become a buyer, right? If you have an hour-long YouTube video in your bio and it's like the one you put time into, say people watch your reels that are 1 minute long. Like, are they more likely to watch
60 reels for 1 minute or one 60-minute video on YouTube, right? Like it just helps push that amount of view time that you need for someone to actually convert much faster, right? Now, on your actual grid, you want 3 to 9 clean posts with your pin post. And you can add reels below, which is actually a new feature. Like you can literally take the images. It used to be where all your images are in order of what you posted them. Now you can have any order and you can like literally drag and drop them basically. So what you want to do is take your 3 to 9 clean posts plus your pin posts, keep them at the top where they're supposed to be. But then if you want your reels to be on your main grid, then you can actually just drag them below all of the images. So it looks very aesthetic and clean, but if people scroll down, then it comes to all your reels, right? Or you can just remove them from the main grid. They swipe over to your reels. It's both pretty similar, but one includes a new feature, right? The goal is to build authority. Obviously, be like the go-to guy in your space, but honestly, like this is a lot more difficult to do on Instagram than it would be on YouTube, right? Now, all of these eventually will lead back to your 10-hour course, which we're going to break down. And this is how you tap into the conversion after you have the attention. But first, you're purely focused on attention, right? And the systems that you need for this, whether it's call booking, application forms, landing pages, email tracking dashboard, team integration, DMs, like a DM setter, AI DM setter, a lot of offers that do less than like 20 to 50K a month struggle getting DM setters because the setters are either really bad or just not, like make you enough money. So they leave. Have your AI DM setter is big. You can get all of this on one platform on OpBot. It literally takes 5 minutes to set up. It's built specifically for info offers, coaches, and it even has white labeled agency dashboard for growth operators and agencies. The link's in the description. But moving into conversion. So if you're on the conversion side of the spectrum, or like you mastered your attention side and you're like going into conversion now, this is again, like you really want to stay away from the middle of the scale. So this would be the method if you're on the like super broad ICP, I just need attention model. This is exactly what I would do. I'd focus on Instagram and I would post a ton, right? Like literally 10 trials a day, multiple reels, a bunch of case studies and everything still on my story. I would literally be like on Instagram all day. For conversion, it's not the same whatsoever, right? This is also a lot better for ROI niches and more common in ROI niches. The outcome is money, right? Like coaches making more money, starting a business model, selling B2C, agencies, sales, real estate. The buyer's actually measuring their success in dollars, right? And this comes back to the 10-hour course method, okay? What is that? First of all, it's a YouTube primary method. And the end goal is to have one video that is literally a 10-hour course. Now, 10 hours sounds insane. It might end up being like 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, maybe more than 10 hours. I don't know. But the goal is to just have this massive video that's the most value so that you're positioned as the authority and the go-to guy in your space. And what this is going to consist of is not just sitting there recording for 10 hours straight, right? You're going to lose focus. The quality is going to drop off. You're not going to understand like really what you're doing. So you want to break down this 10-hour course video into actual pillars and sections, right? The production for a 10-hour course video takes a long time. But if you separate it into multiple videos, then you're able to post throughout every 3 to 5 days leading up to posting the actual 10-hour course, right? So that's exactly what I would do. The first video is who are you? Why would you why listen to me? Or a very common video that people use that works extremely well in like biz op space or like making money space in general is how I made X amount of dollars in X amount of days type of video title, right? So that's a very common like pillar piece of content that people use. But then you're going to want to actually structure out what is the sequence of videos
based on basically the modules of the 10-hour course, what order do I need to post in? What content do I need to create, right? So your pillars might be like, if you're talking to coaches, you might have a pillar about systems. You might have a pillar about the offer. You might have a pillar about content, right? You want to figure out what 4 pillars and what 4 topics, at least 4 topics. I mean, this can vary, right? Like you could have like 3 to like 8, you know what I mean? But you want to break them down into more in-depth breakdowns with the intentions of them working together to create one bigger piece of the puzzle, right? Once you have your 4 pillars laid out, towards the end of the video, so say hour 1 is your how I got X result in X amount of days or doing X. And then you have all of the steps of how you did it. Again, you're posting every 3 to 5 days, these as independent videos. And then eventually you take all of your, a lot of your better results, whether it's your results or some testimonials, client results, and you just backload the back half of the video, right? So say this ends up being 7 hours, right? Like maybe your total course ends up being 9 hours. And this first 5 pieces of the puzzle ends up being 7 hours. Your results and testimonials at the end adds another 2 hours. But by the time someone were to get 7 hours into the video, like now it's just results, testimonials, right? Every single one of these videos are posted independently, still with some type of lead magnet or like your offer, right? By lead magnet, I don't mean like download this free PDF. It could be like an application form. So like, call booking, just like literally anything, a free Telegram group. It could be anything. Okay. So that you're still like getting your offer out there and like still trying to make money in the meantime before the course is actually produced. But again, all of these will also have a link in the description leading back to the 10-hour course. Watch my full 10-hour course by the time that it's actually like posted in production, right? So with this method, you still want your Instagram in your actual video description with a clear bio, a DM CTA, a link back to the YouTube, and 3 to 9 like clean posts. The goal is not to focus on Instagram if you're doing this method. Starting off, again, you're on the far side of conversion. Like you want to focus purely on conversion. You have a sophisticated audience and buyer. The goal is literally just to not move the needle backwards, basically with your Instagram. It's like not a focus. It's just when they click on your Instagram because they can't message you on YouTube, like it just needs to be like, damn, like they don't even think twice about it. They're just like, okay, like this is on par with this brand. It looks clean, whatever it is, but it's not like a distraction, right? All of this, again, leads back into the full 10-hour course video. Now, full transparency, this is the method that I'm literally doing right now, right? So like the 10-hour course method is extremely powerful. It has literally created millionaires, right? Like this method is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not saying you can't use this method with a actual like attention-based offer, or if you're in one of these niches, it's not the first thing that you do, right? First, you want to get the attention because your offer, your ICP is more based around attention. And then once you feel like that's optimized, it's built into your routine, your schedule, then you can start building something like this out and having this 10-hour course as an asset for the sales or to redirect people to retarget people from your attention like that you're getting on Instagram. Like that's huge, right? Same thing with conversion. Once you do make the 10-hour course, like obviously you're going to continue posting on YouTube, and you're probably going to tap into actually now getting attention to that 10-hour course. But these are the things you need to focus on if you're on the sides of more like extreme. If you're trying to sell high ticket or low ticket. Again, high ticket's going to be based around conversion. Attention's going to be based more around low ticket. And again, same thing for systems, call booking, application forms, team integration, DM setter, whatever it is. It's all on OpBot. Literally takes 5 minutes to set up. Again, if you're like a coach, like you can get your your own account and literally just like build your funnel, your entire backend system better than what a growth operator would build for you instantly. If you're a growth operator, like these are the type of AI tools that are pre-built that you don't have to go and try to build from scratch for every single offer or get 100 different softwares and try to integrate them together and build like a custom system for every coach. Like just get a white label dashboard on OpBot that does everything for you and take the credit for it, right? I hope you guys got a ton of value and implement this into your business or your coach's business ASAP, because these are genuine revenue driving factors that are going to make a massive difference. This is exactly how I built $1 million info business using just YouTube, the entire strategy, right? First of all, if you're going to watch this video, you should know if this framework is even for you. So if you're going to use this framework, it works best with results. The results do not have to be some crazy results where you're making $500K plus a month in e-com. And by the way, this works for any niche. I'm going to show you some examples of various niches. Obviously, I'm in the info niche. I'm a growth operator. I help coaches scale. So this strategy does work very well for coaches and growth operators themselves. I'm actually actively doing it myself right now. But again, you need some results. Just like in the previous breakdown, I broke down how I brought a client to over 161K cash collected in 90 days with this actual framework right here. So I did this back in the day whenever I was a coach as well. I do this for my clients, and again, I'm doing it for myself, but this is me back whenever I actually sold e-com, and these were the results that I was using to actually sell my course back then in 2023, right? So this was my total revenue for like 3 months or something with what I was doing at the time was actually Etsy drop shipping. And as you can see, that's not like the craziest results in the world, you know, like 7K in a month, just under 9K. I think this was like 12,000 something. And like that was the screenshot that in coaching led me to be on, you know, a podcast with Andy Elliott. It led to 20 to 40K months. And this was purely profit, right? Like this is all like organic content on YouTube, cold DMs. Like we're not going to go over the cold DMs. It's strictly the content strategy, because if you do it the right way and you do it how I understand it now, then you're not even going to need really like DMs or anything like that. Like it just sells itself, right? So as you can see, I went from, I mean, out of this 30K, like the margins in e-com aren't great. I wasn't really running like Facebook ads. So like I did make a much better margin than you'd expect on this, but the margin on this was basically 100% whenever I was coaching, right? Like I was just selling a course. So again, it works best with results. You could technically do it without it. If you do have results, they don't have to be insane, but like if they're there, like, you know, it makes all the difference, right? So you just need something to talk about. Like if it's not money, if you haven't generated money for yourself, or like, you know, you could do this exact same thing with your transformation. If you're a fitness coach, you can show your before and after picture. You can show client before and after picture. You just need something. Like the result needs to be there, okay? So for my example, the result that I led off with is, again, $161,000 cash collected in 90 days from zero with $0 in ad spend using only YouTube, like no Instagram whatsoever. And a few other guys that use this strategy, just for some familiar names. Obviously, like I'm a growth operator, info space. So the first two examples kind of similar, where Sue, he used this strategy that I'm about to break down. Nick Setting used this strategy that I'm about to break down. Both of them have slightly, in a way, outgrown it, but I've actually recently seen a piece of content from Nick where he was like referring back to this strategy, saying like he like wish he could go back, but he already made like a brand change basically. Outside of the info space, well, like not fully, but this is Caleb Ralston. He works with some massive personal brands.
I highly recommend if, you want to learn how to make better content, like this is a good guy to go to. But these were his first couple videos, right? And if you notice 56K, 19K, 81K, 17K, 109K, like those are good views. But why did this specific video end up getting 1.1 million views? That was because he was using this exact framework and strategy that I'll be going over right now. And I've used this strategy myself years ago for coaching, and I'm also using it literally right this second as a growth operator. So for the actual framework breakdown, obviously the goal is to be on YouTube and start building your YouTube personal brand in a way that converts clients, customers, and users, whatever you're selling. So first of all, you want to build a clear plan leading into it. You don't want to just like dive face first into it. And the goal is to get top tier positioning in your market, right? Be the go-to guy and to build a long-term asset, okay? So first of all, we're going to go over the actual plan, which comes down to these pillars that you need to build out, and you really need to think them through for yourself. But here's an example of like what mine kind of looks like. It's not exact, but it would be an example for a growth operator that after you see it explode for me, because I've already implemented it for clients over the past, months, years, used it for myself years ago. Like I know this works. I've seen multiple people blow up with it. I'm going to blow up with it. So whenever you see that, if you want to know what I did, it's this. Okay. So if you're a growth operator, basically the strategy is to create, in this example, there's 5 pillars, right? And the end goal is to create a 10-hour course, but you want to reverse engineer it, okay? The end goal is a 10-hour course. It doesn't actually have to be 10. It could be like Caleb, his was 6. Nick's was actually 10. I think Sue's was like 9 hours. You get the point, right? Like it's just a very long video. You would think a video that long like gets less views, but it's consistently the top performer on YouTube channels, right? And it's the strategy is not just this one video, okay? It leads into this one video, and it's honestly like the foundation of your entire like personal brand, YouTube channel, and like your future. It's a really good asset, but how you actually develop this video and what you do before is extremely important, okay? Because this can make all the difference, especially if your results are not as in depth as some of the other guys that have used this strategy, right? So, for example, again, you want to find your pillars. And basically this is for a growth operator. If you're a growth operator, like what went into getting results for yourself or for the customer, like whoever your ICP is, right? I'm specifically speaking to people that work on info offers, growth operators, coaches, and the most important pillars are you need good content to start generating lead flow, to build a personal brand. You need you need good systems to actually turn viewers into buyers, which also comes from your content. You need, team, hiring, setters, closers. You need to understand how to scale, understand the offer. And each one of these pillars are going to become a video of its own. Obviously, also a module in the 10-hour course, okay? And each one of these pillars can break down into, multiple different segments. So for example, like content, you'll have maybe the overall content framework, the overall entire system that you used, and then you'll have the specific strategy, like your vehicle and then the actual specific strategy that you used on the vehicle, okay? With offer, it might be like you'll make a video on ICP market fit and then on like deliverables, okay? You also want to, in these videos, include a bit about who you are, but you don't want to force it. Like no one cares who you are, which that's what we're trying to fix. But you also don't want to like damage your retention by trying to force like who you are into the video, right? There's a proper way to do it. But the goal is to understand what went into getting results, okay? And then you want to break it down into pillars, and you want to break those pillars down into subcategories that all are videos on their own, okay? So for content, like I'm going to make a video that's this framework breakdown That's how I built $1 million info business using just YouTube. But I'm also going to show my entire content framework, which was the last video, the breaking down the entire the framework, right? This is extremely important to actually break down the pillars into segments. Okay, one, the whole reason why you're doing it this way is you're going to be posting these videos individually leading up into the 10-hour course. Okay, the 10-hour course is the end goal, and it's honestly gonna be what like you get crazy results with if you do it properly, right? A lot of guys go straight into the 10-hour course and make it like, you know, Caleb, he made it his second video and just sat down and recorded a 6-hour course, right? But if you're in the info niche or a growth operator, you don't have like this huge, I mean, I guess technically he's building his personal brand. It wasn't huge, but his network was already crazy. You know what I mean? And some people posted his video on like Twitter because of the results and who the, like what people he's worked with. Like a lot of you guys are just not going to have that same effect. So you need to build up the release of the 10-hour course in a way, right? Which comes from posting this content in order, creating the content in order, in terms of like, you can then piece together each individual video into the 10-hour course and then just record in betweens, right? Now, some example like video titles, for your first video that you drop, you actually want it to be more of like a breakdown, okay? So a client result, a case study, a personal transformation, whatever it is. But an example would be like how I made 161K in 90 days with growth operating, right? You can change the amount, you can change the amount of days, and you can change what actual, like, you know, obviously what your niche is. You just insert what your results are. How I made your client like 161K in 90 days, which leads into how I use pillar one, which happens to be like content in this example, to get this specific result. Okay. From there, how I built a $1 million info business using just pillar one, content, right? That's what this breakdown is. Okay. So these are videos that I'm already creating. I'm actively doing this strategy, and you can just insert what works for your niche. But again, this isn't just like, oh, like I'm doing this strategy. This is what Sue, Nick Setting, Caleb, like if you do this inside of your niche, the chances that you become the go-to guy are 10x. Easy. Like this is unbelievable strategy. There's more people that I can name off the top of my head, but I just don't want to. That use this exact strategy, and it literally made them millions of dollars. Like I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. Okay. So these videos are all being posted individually, and like you can pause the video, screenshot it, like just like keep these in mind for video idea titles, right? As you can see, like the next video that I'm probably going to be posting is revealing my 117K per month info operating system for scaling on online coaches as like a growth operator, right? But basically you want these pillars to flow into each other and be videos on their own. Like these are each videos on their own, but they're going to flow into a 10-hour course very nicely, right? To where they can be all pieced together. But whenever it comes to the 10-hour course, say you make 12 30-minute videos, that's 6 hours, right? And say you wanted to make a 10 or an 8-hour course, then you can record all the videos you have planned out. It ends up being 6 hours. In the last 2 hours after you indoctrinate people for 6 hours can be social proof, or, you know, obviously a pillar breakdown where it's, you know, one of these side segments where you're just posting more in depth, right? Again, like the reason you're doing this strategy is one, to build your personal brand up before you drop the 10-hour course, build an audience, build credibility. Also, you're going to be able to go way more in depth on each one of these, knowing that they're an asset on their own that you can use, which we're going to go over in the future for multiple different things, right? So towards the end of the video, once all the like you just value stack the hell out of this, you know, 10-hour course, and then you can include one-on-one calls, social proof, case studies, and obviously you can throw in pillar breakdowns with whatever other videos that you're breaking down. But the goal is to give a ridiculous amount of value for 4 to 10 hours, and then stack 1 to 2 hours of case studies or results on the back half, right? When people already trust you and you gave them a ton of value. Okay.
Now, what does this do for your positioning? Okay. And what's important for your positioning is going to be your language, your social proof, and maintaining authority. Okay. So, first of all, if you notice in the video titles, they all take credit, right? It's like how I did this. Okay. And the first time that I really noticed this was actually from Nick's setting, where it was like I was going through some of his videos, like trying to understand, like, how do people that, grow very quickly, like what does their content like really entail in terms of packaging? Okay. And all of his video titles, no matter what happened, whether it was like a client got a result, he got a result, whatever it is, it's always him taking credit. And he's not the only guy. It's just like a good example. You know what I mean? But how I did that, how I took a client with this framework to X amount, right? Taking credit in the video title genuinely performs better and works better for your personal brand. It gets people to follow you for you rather than like watch your video for like just value alone and like move on, right? Use numbers. Again, like if you have results, this is going to obviously get you better results. So results are going to get you better results. But what I mean is, like, if you're making clients 200K a month, okay, like obviously your video, like putting how I made this guy 200K in a month, is going to perform better than someone. Shit, you never know, honestly. But even if you have like, okay, I made this client 7K in a month, just use your real numbers, be authentic, and show what you really did, right? And if the numbers are smaller, that's fine. I was going to say, like, obviously, if you have 200K per month, like, you're probably going to get more views, but that's actually not necessarily true. Like, maybe you just resonate with the broader audience with a lower number. You never know, right? But either way, it's going to be better for your personal brand, just being authentic and honest with your results, and just building this asset for the long term, right? Breakdown videos, what you have learned, right? Like all these videos, all the titles I showed you, the positioning needs to be you're breaking down these videos, and it can be on a Miro board like I am right now. It can be with a Google Doc, like for example, Cole Gordon is using right now, like Google Docs. I've done Google Docs in the past, and another way of doing a breakdown video I actually did in a previous smaller course for growth operators was I used AI to build out like a presentation. You can do slides. There's so many different ways to do these breakdown videos. You can just find your style, what you enjoy, and like what you think is most aesthetically pleasing. I like Miro videos a lot. They're cool, so I made them. You know what I mean? Pre-video prep. You want to make sure like you understand what you're actually going to be doing in each video. Miro makes this incredibly easy. Obviously, having like the presentation or like having a step-by-step for a live tutorial, having that pre-video prep in terms of I know exactly what I'm going to cover so I can stay on track, right? Miro, I've already pre-built the entire video with bullet points to where I can still talk like this. Like it's not on the screen, right? Like I'm just talking to you guys authentically, like from whatever's like on my mind right now. But these bullet points on the screen on Miro are keeping me on track and making sure that I deliver the value that I want to give you guys in the video, and I can add to it as I go, right? So having that pre-video prep using something like Miro or a presentation is going to make your video more value dense, okay? And again, this all comes back to value. No one cares about you. I know that sucks to hear, but they just don't care yet, right? So as you make these videos, again, like people are going to watch you for value. If you put good value on YouTube, like you're going to see results. Okay. If you just stick to it and you give value, throw in, obviously most of your videos should be 80 to 90+% just straight value, but feel free to throw in 10 to 20% of like personal experience, whether it's like a story that relates to what you're speaking about, or who you are outside of business. For example, in the first video in this strategy that I'm actually using, again, this strategy is going to take me like 60 days for it to lay out and then become a 10-hour course. And I'm telling you guys about it before I even do it, just so that you can see the results and how confident I am in this strategy. It's actually going to make a massive impact on my personal brand and my business directly, right? But
what have I done that's like personal, that's 10 to 20% like outside of business, right? In the first video, I broke down my entire like life story in a way that was only like 5 minutes of how I went from business model to business model, looking for something that genuinely works online, leading into the results that I got with ecom, how I got into info by coaching ecom, and how I saw like the margins and had my first $1,000 profit day with coaching. And I saw the potential of the education space, right? And I talked about how I played college baseball while I was doing all of this, right? Like I'm just a normal dude, just like you guys. You know what I mean? Like we're just constantly trying to improve, give value to other people, and obviously like grow a business. You know, most of us, especially if you're watching my video breakdown, right? So just throwing in little things about you where it's not like the whole concept of the video, but it's like, oh shit, like, you know, like this guy played college baseball. That's cool. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to break down like how what my first at bats were like, you know what I mean? Like no one cares about that. Next, obviously like this video becomes a ridiculous asset. Okay. There's a very, very good chance, guys. Like I'm telling you, there's an extremely good chance if you do this, especially if you do it properly. If you're already posting on YouTube, this is going to be one of your highest performers in terms of views in general, but it's also going to bring in more leads, likely more revenue, obviously like no income claims or anything like with this video. But this is just going to be a ridiculous asset for you. Like it's just go and do like research as well. Like on some of those guys that I listed that also use these strategies, go click their popular videos. Go see what's like their top 3 popular videos. You're going to see this as one of them majority of the time, right? On the guys that grew very quickly. Okay. So what do I mean by this becomes an asset for your business? Okay. Now you have a content cycle. Okay. All of these videos were broken down into actual independent videos. So if you're making a 10-hour course, every video is 30 minutes long, you just posted 20 YouTube videos. You should be posting them every 3 to 5 days. So that's literally going to take 20 to 100 days to post all of these videos leading up to the 10-hour course. By the time you post the 10-hour course, you already have 20 value dense 30-minute videos, breakdown, like niche breakdown videos that if you think you're going to post 3 to 5 days, every 3 to 5 days, full content breakdowns, and over 100 days, like you don't think your audience is going to grow before you release this course, then you're out of your mind, right? Like, again, with all of these videos that you're posting as well, they're going to be more evergreen because they're value based, right? Like they're micro breakdowns. They're all in the channel description, all going to lead back to the 10-hour course. Hey, do you want to watch the 10-hour course? Go here. Okay. So now you're creating a content cycle. You're not just getting views directly to the course video, but you're getting views on every single module independently, even more niche, but pushing people into the 10-hour course, right? And the reason why the 10-hour course, again, is just so good is because, well, we're actually about to go over it here in a second, but let's move forward to magnet right now. It becomes a great lead magnet in a way, right? Like people always talk about how lead magnets are just like, you know, people slap together a PDF document and it doesn't help improve like your sales whatsoever. If anything, it hurts because it's just like a piece of shit lead magnet. You know what I mean? If you have a 10-hour course for completely free, helping your ICP in your Instagram bio, you send it out in your email list, or you can send out the specific modules or specific 3-minute clips from the email list, leading back into, again, the content cycle, right? Or if you have a free Telegram group like me, I have a free Telegram group in the description where I literally just drop value and voice notes so that, like, you know, in these videos, I do obviously value straight breakdowns, but on Telegram, like I talk more about things outside of just business alone, more like self-development, mentality, obviously like, you know, just whatever I'm interested in, right? And it gives me a chance to like connect further, right? Again, you can also use this on like X or other social media platforms. A really, really good strategy with the 10-hour course that this is straight sauce. You've earned it by if you're still watching this video. So I'm going to give it away. I was actually on a 3-hour phone call where I was breaking down this specific strategy to one of my boys he does very well. He's sales management. He's a dog. That's my boy. You know what I mean? And I was breaking down the strategy so that he could really like set himself apart in the sales management space. He already does. Like he's already like towards the top, but in terms of personal branding, like this would just kill it for him on YouTube. What I was telling him is we were actually talking about trial reels, right? So again, this is fucking like fire. Trial reels are honestly insane, right? Like you can just yap, they don't go on your profile. It's all like new followers, cold traffic. It's basically running ads for free, right? And you can post up to 10 a day. So he was already posting some like trial reels, but basically as I was breaking down the strategy, I was talking about the importance of integrating those trial reels into this YouTube strategy, right? So if you want to take it a step further and you want to bring more cold traffic into something that's actually going to nurture, right? Like selling to cold traffic is difficult, but if you take and the reason why is, this little screenshot here, but if you take someone from cold traffic into a 10-hour course video, the likelihood of them buying is going to be much, much, much greater, right? Watching like 10 hours worth of your content. And again, it comes back down to you need 7 to 7.5 hours of content, right? To actually convert somebody, okay? But basically it was trial reels. Make a trial reel for every single segment of each breakdown. So say it's 20 videos and then the course video obviously at the end. For the 20 videos, you can make 3 to 10 trial videos each about a certain part of the video, either pulling it from the video, doing like a talking head, or just a raw like yap. Like the reason why this content cycle is so important is because XYZ. If you want to see the entire breakdown of how I use this strategy, then comment YouTube, And then when they comment YouTube, you can use a simple automation to obviously send them to the YouTube video and start indoctrinating them, right? So it becomes a ridiculous lead magnet, not just like some bullshit PDF that you're putting together. It's also great for objections in training. Again, it becomes a DM asset for your setters to send to people when they have questions. Either, obviously you have the full 10-hour course in to handle objections like in your bio or wherever like you're going to use it as a resource. But you also, again, posted all the videos individually, so you can send those as a specific asset to specific problems or objections in the DMs. And you can even take it a step further and obviously clip certain videos, like a 3-minute segment out, and have setters send it for certain objections. This content strategy just becomes absolutely ridiculous. Again, it becomes a short form CTA resource. You can have a call to action making trial reels or normal Instagram content where people comment, and then you send them the actual resource and YouTube video link. Another thing you could use this for is a low ticket funnel, right? Like it's pretty crazy. Post booking page clarity. Obviously if you're running like a VSL call funnel, like if you direct them to all of these different modules to answer all their questions, and eventually like the 10-hour course, say they book a call like 3 to 5 days out, like if they did end up watching multiple of those modules or going through the 10-hour course, like, do you think the chances of them actually becoming a client or customer of yours is higher? I would believe so, right? As long as your offer is aligned with what you're actually like making content about, you know what I mean? It's also really good for training. Again, like you're very clear on what you do and your beliefs. Like if you have your team watch some of the modules or like the 10-hour breakdown, you make it a part of your like SOP for them to get a feel for what you do, what you believe. Like if I have a setter watch this video of the YouTube framework breakdown, like he's going to understand how it works, right? He's going to understand what I'm preaching instead of me getting on a call and like trying to go and explain it to him like one-on-one. I can just send him this instead. You know what I mean? So you can also use it for training. But again, the big reason why all of this is so important, your plan, positioning, your asset, making this 10-hour course video, right? And being so specific with like, the pillars and what exactly you want to do and pre-planning it is because industry research indicates that prospects typically need to consume about 7 to 7.5 hours of content, okay? Often spread across 10 to 20 touch points to develop enough trust to buy a major information product, okay? If you're selling high ticket, especially like guys, 7 to 7.5 hours of content, 10 to 20 touch points. This hits 10 to 20 touch points. These are 10 to 20 different videos, all pieced into 7+ hours of content, right? This is one piece of content that can get you over these humps compared to if you're posting on Instagram only and you're not yet on YouTube. Like if you have never posted on YouTube and you do this, like again, it's going to take 60 to 100 days, but you're going to be that guy. Like you are going to be him. You know what I mean? So especially like in any niche, you can be in fitness, you can be in info, you can be a growth operator like me, you can be, literally selling anything. You can be in e-com trading. If you do this, dude, you're gonna kill it. You're going to kill it, right? So if you're doing this on Instagram, how long is it going to take for someone to consume 7 hours of your content, right? Like if they watch a reel for 1 minute, 60 times 7, I don't even want to try to do this math right now. You know what I mean? I was actually a second place math Olympian, but those days are far gone, as you can tell. But they're going to have to watch a lot of content. Okay. Like they're going to have to watch hundreds and hundreds of your Instagram shorts to actually become, a paying customer. Okay. So that is why this 10-hour course strategy breakdown, or this 10-hour course in general, and actually planning it and the pillars, what went into getting your results is so important. Okay. Like if you properly implement every single pillar, again, you're not building the 10-hour course to post one video. You are posting videos constantly, in-depth breakdowns of every single pillar on like purposefully leading into a 10-hour course. You're just posting a module at a time, basically, right? Like that's how you should think about it. If you do this, regardless of your niche, you're going to see a ridiculous change inside of your business, the lead flow, like the results that you're getting with your actual personal brand, whatever it is. This content strategy is unbeatable with YouTube. It's unbeatable. So if obviously feel free to like screenshot some of the resources, go pause the video, whatever it is. If you want to learn the systems to actually collect all your leads, that's going to be the next, then the next module, the next video breakdown, but everything that I use is in OpBot. So the link for OpBot is going to be in the description, the free Telegram. If you guys, want to get some voice notes on free sauce, on a semi-daily basis, go ahead, join that for free. If you have any questions, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm a fairly nice guy. You know what I mean? I'm a real guy. So if you shoot me a DM, I'll probably get back to you and answer any questions you have. But I hope this breakdown genuinely makes a massive impact for you or the clients that you implement it for. If you're a growth operator and you use this framework for your clients, like they're going to love you. Okay. They're going to love you. If you're a coach and you implement this because you saw this video, then you're going to love me. You know what I mean? But other than that, hope you guys are killing it and got a ton of value. Let's go. I'm going to be showing you exactly what I did to sell over $161,000 worth of information in just 90 days with 0 ads, all 100% organic from YouTube alone for one of my clients, right? Entire breakdown, how I did it. But first, why should you even listen to me, right? Like what experience do I have in online business or in info in general, right? So first of all, a little bit about me. I started day trading at 15. Of course, I was broke. So like I threw in a little bit about, a little bit of bread into an account and called it trading. And I actually got this portfolio up to a few $1,000s before yellowing it all and losing it. And that led me to a path of starting e-com online, which I was still broke. As you see, I was just a high school baseball player, played in travel baseball, and got into e-com, normal dude, right? Age 19 which is a pretty big gap. I was trying TikTok drop shipping, organic drop shipping. I was trying TikTok paid, normal Facebook ads, everything like that. And I probably started like 5 different stores, 6, 7 different stores. And I actually got some sales on some of them. A lot of the sales were like, family members or people supporting me because I was like a young entrepreneur. But I actually did get some sales through ads that happened to not be profitable.
But eventually I went down a route where I did Etsy drop shipping, right? And I ended up spending $0 on ads. And this was a few months into the process, but this was the first time where I ever made over $10,000 revenue in a month, which I think it was like right below 12,652 or whatever. And that was when I was 19, which is actually whenever I got into college. And from there, I one day decided to send a message in a Discord group for social media marketing agency owners, because I actually had a marketing agency as well at the time. I've had a marketing agency since I was like probably 17, but it was never like my primary source of income, if that makes sense. I just always had it and had some clients, but like I did not charge enough simply, right? So it was just getting experience. But at age 20, I sent this Discord message showing my results, literally this exact screenshot probably, in a Discord group, and ended up getting a few people reaching out, asking how I did it. And I ended up teaching them one-on-one. And it was the first day I ever profited over $1,000 in a day. So I realized very quickly how powerful info could be, right? So I ended up getting these people results, just going all in on the one-on-one and creating a school group when school was like OG, pretty new. And at age 20, while I was coaching in info, selling course and upselling one-on-one mentorship, while I was 20 years old, I hit my first 30K month while I was actually playing Power 5 baseball in college, right? So here's, one of those screenshots back when I was coaching. And at that moment, I had a realization, right? And that was the power of a personal brand alongside the actual info education niche, right? Because at the time, I'm just a college baseball player, and I ended up doing some, big podcasts and growing this coaching business. And really none of my teammates even really knew about it until this podcast dropped. And then like some people figured out. But that led me to a point where I knew that I didn't know everything, right? Like I knew I needed to learn more and invest into myself as well as the actual business, right? So I ended up spending over $50,000 for, months of coaching on systems. I got done for you systems so that I could see how some of the, top info guys in the space did it, how agencies fulfill, and, took courses on social media. And I went through the process of being a customer and a coach myself, right? And what I saw was the fulfillment for systems was truthfully brutal, right? Like these coaches were paying agencies. By these coaches, I mean me, all right? So I paid, for example, $15,000 for one system. It was actually $17,500 because of $7,500 for a CRM, which ended up being a simple CRM and go high level, nothing customized. And the other 10,000 was to run ads, and like they didn't even show me my data. It was kind of insane. But what that made me realize is the potential in selling something and learning something like the systems and scaling a business. And that really became my passion once I started to dive into it. So I was already in coaches. I was already a coach. So I just started helping other coaches from there, right? So I ended up becoming a growth operator around 21. And that's literally like the only difference was I just started taking rev shares with clients because I was already starting to do some like build and release done for you systems, and eventually started getting some results. I took a client from 0 to 5K a month. I took a client from 3K to 10K a month, and slowly the testimonials started getting better and better. The results started getting better and better. I started learning more about what systems are actually needed to run and grow an information business. And I ended up taking a client from 3K to 76K revenue, but he only did 27K cash collected. They were all on like payment plans pretty much. It was kind of crazy, which surprisingly, this was in like the service niche, right? But there's actually every single one of these coaches, by the way, are in different niches. Like I coached in ecom. I've helped ecom coaches, traders, service businesses, fitness coaches. So this applies to any info niche, right? But as you can see, people were getting results, and eventually I had my like outlier client that people talk about, right? Where it's like, you only need one client to really change your life. And I was already making good money as a college student, obviously. And it was around this time where I ended up dropping out. It was actually like when I first started getting results for build and release before growth operating. I dropped out of college, went all in. Shortly after that, became growth operator. And 6 to 8 months of being a growth operator, that first outlier came in hot, right? And it didn't seem like anything crazy at first. He actually reached out to me through the exact same strategy I'm about to be talking about soon and show you step-by-step simple breakdown. It's like extremely transparent and easy to follow. But in month one, we went from $0 to over $12,000 cash collected with one YouTube video, right? Month two, we posted a second YouTube video. Cash collected over $32,000. And on month three, we had a huge growth spurt, which I mean, technically we tripled and then tripled again, like roughly, you know what I mean? But 117K revenue, over 100K cash collected, and it was all 100% organic traffic for over $161,000 in just 90 days with zero ad spend. And I'm going to show you exactly how we did it, which starts off with actually getting organic leads and then having a good system to actually, 1, get views, 2, turn views into leads, and 3, turn leads into actual customers, right? So full transparency, this is exactly what I did, right? So first of all, step 1, like, you got to post content, okay? But what type of content gets views and actually gets customers, okay? I actually honestly have, I want to say I doubled down and tested this for myself, okay? Because I did this with other coaches that implement this properly get great results. And I started doing it myself. It worked very well. I switched up, went a different route to test, and it didn't work as well, right? So I'm back to it, right? And this is the exact strategy, and that's YouTube plus Miro, okay? I get it. Like, maybe you're trying to think of some like magic sauce. Like, this is it. I promise you, your views might not go insane, which whenever you get an outlier client, it's when you drop a Miro video on something like YouTube where there's such a high chance that the person watching a full video can actually convert into a customer compared to like TikTok, right? There is no better combination to generate revenue than YouTube and Miro. And if you really look at some of the top guys, that by top guys, I mean some of the guys with the most momentum in early stages, right? Because sometimes strategy changes once you get to a certain scale, right? Like if you're Brez and you're getting like millions of views or something, like, yeah, now you just like post different, makes a second channel, whatever. But if you are working with a coach that is like a micro coach, right? Or like having to make niche content because that's what converts early on, YouTube, Miro, there's no better combination. Okay. This builds trust, and you want to spend time building out a real Miro board and giving real value, right? Also, whenever you're giving a presentation on something like Miro, you're on something like YouTube, like you maintain frame. Okay. Like if you go, and I made this mistake myself, but if you go make videos where it doesn't really resonate with your current audience, and maybe your audience watches you because of the value you give them, and then you make some videos where they're not as like, they're not valuable, they're more for entertainment, then you're going to quickly see your revenue change, like very quickly. Okay. But it might take you a moment to realize. So actually showing proof, results, talking about client wins, talking about your history of like how you got to where you get, people resonating with the coach, with your info offer, or if you're a growth operator, you know, resonating with other coaches. And then a huge point that's extremely simple, right? But I even had a growth operator get on a single call with me, and he was extremely new to it, got his first client and did a launch. His systems were brutal, right? Like I'm about to go over the exact systems you should have implemented and exactly what I used. for this offer to get it to 100K a month. This offer still does over 100K a month today. 1 month it touched over 200K a month, but the systems are different now. Okay, but they're similar. They're the same, but they're different. You know what I mean? But CTAs in the video are extremely important. And also when you have a CTA, okay? So for example, this growth operator reaches out. He's in a very weird niche with a very unaware audience. If you are in something like e-commerce or trading, you almost don't even need to put a CTA in your video because like people are going to go check the description to see if you offer like coaching or have a course, right? Like they just know better. You still want a CTA, but usually it's like end of video guys who watch it end up getting the CTA. But if you're in a niche that is not a business opportunity and you're not teaching people to make money, it's better to have a CTA a little bit earlier in the video. For example, like 5 minutes in, you give a CTA like, hey, by the way, there's my chess course in the description below, right? So this growth operator reaches out. His systems were brutal, but it's almost irrelevant until you have proper lead flow, right? It's not like you need to build a team with no lead flow. So the first thing you need to fix, because the guy was already getting views, which you're getting views should be from YouTube and Miro if you want to convert, right? But was making the viewers even aware of an offer and having them become a lead. So putting a CTA in the video, literally on launch, they only did $500, like literally nothing, right? They got one $500 sale. The next 3 days, so that was the first 7 days. The next 3 days after they implemented a CTA in the video, they cash collected over $7,000 in 3 days, right? Which is still $7,000 in 3 days. Like it's good, but it's not like insane, but it's also, what is that? Like 8X their initial like launch revenue, right? In the next 3 days. So that's how you turn a viewer into a lead, right? Once they're actually a lead, they click the link. They, actually are aware that you have an offer before they become a lead. You make them aware, they click the link, which happens to be in the description of the YouTube video. And again, full transparency, the system I'm about to go over, I do not use anymore. I've literally canceled every single one of the softwares that I'm about to mention and every single tool on this list because today the operating system that I use, my operating system, literally replaces all of it. And it allows you to build out all of these systems in minutes rather than the 20 hours it would take me to build it for every single one of my coaches. And you're also going to have over a dozen AI agents like running tasks inside of the business, able to send DMs, have an AI DM setter, track your DM metrics, adding team members to the dashboard, everything like that. But this full transparency is what I ran at the time of growing from zero in 90 days to cash collecting over $161,000 for this specific offer, right? So this is the stack that I use, which it's the same functionality as what I use now, to be clear. It just, what I use now takes much less time and it leverages AI much harder, right? So first of all, they click the link in the description and they're being sent to a raw VSL. What do I mean by raw VSL? I use ClickFunnels for a landing page, and literally the landing page, guys, like when you are getting traffic through a video like this, for example, where it's a YouTube video on a Miro board of a breakdown, why are you going to send someone to a landing page with another like 15-minute VSL breaking down what you do? Like by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what I do. You know what I mean? So I don't have to tell you again if you go click the link in the description. Okay. So either have no VSL, which we did for a very long time, and then we implemented a very raw VSL and saw almost like no different in actual metrics. He just ended up getting more views, so he made more money, right? But if you do put a VSL, like a couple minutes max, 2-3 minutes, like just be raw, authentic, give clear transparency on what the offer is, depending on the niche. Again, some niches like don't really need that, like e-com. Like it's okay, you're gonna help me build a dropshipping store and scale the e-com product. I get it. Like everything's in the program, you know? So say they watch the VSL or like take a look at the landing page. It should pretty much just be an application form, okay? And a lot of the time now,
all we use is an application form from YouTube because, again, these videos are basically your VSL, right? So you send people straight to an application form, which at the time I was using Typeform. Again, I do not use Typeform or ClickFunnels or any of these softwares anymore. And what we would do is we would lead score the leads, right? Which is based on the application, based on the way they answer the questions, how likely are they to spend X amount of money with your business? You know, like, are they willing to spend more than 5,000 or is it going to be less? You know what I mean? And then you give them a score and basically rank how good of a lead it is. Based on that score they get, we're either sending them to a low ticket redirect on WOP, where like if they're like, yeah, dude, I have like less than $500, we're not going to sit here and get on a sales call. Now we did implement eventually, like when we were hiring more closers, we'd call it the trenches, right? We'd put them in the trenches and that's where they would go get their training, is we'd actually put them on these calls, which is like low-key kind of fucked, to be honest with you, but it's true. We'd put them on these calls. They would get a ton of volume. Like they'd have 10 sales calls, 15 sales calls a day each, and we'd be able to see who was actually performing. And they did make more money for the business being on sales calls rather than just sending them to like a VSL low ticket page, because they're actually being pitched and like, you know, you're just going to have a higher close rate as long as your show rate's decent. Having somebody on a call and answering their questions. So they did make the business more money, but it wasn't necessarily like enough to be worth it to make it like a priority initially, right? So having this low ticket redirect in the beginning to save time, especially with a leaner team, was super important. From there, if again, they're not qualified and they go into the low ticket, they're getting nurtured, whether they buy or not, we already have them getting hit up by, you know, setters, nurturing sequences, automations, and they're getting put into the CRM, which at the time was Go High Level. And we still nurture those guys, still follow up with them, re-engage them, and try to book a call with them after, you know, learning a bit more about them, seeing how they do inside like the community, or if they don't end up purchasing. One thing you do have to be aware of is sometimes guys just lie on their application in both directions. Like they'll say they have money and they don't, which is like obviously pretty annoying. But there'll be guys that like don't want to get pitched a higher package because they think the price will change if they have more to invest. So then they say they have no money, right? So we would end up re-engaging those guys, you know, getting a setter to message them, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, like we learn a little bit more, and like next thing you know, like they actually have like a pretty good job, like they're in like tech or something, and we're like, okay, this guy lied on his application, let's get him on a sales call, right? So if they were qualified, they just go straight to the Calendly link, and we'd have our top closer, our most experienced closer, take those calls, which at the beginning, that was me as the growth operator. I was taking all of the sales calls because initially the coach, obviously when he brought me on, like there was no team, the offer was terrible, there was nothing in place, and I took the sales calls off of his hands. He took some of the lower ticket sales calls to find like common objections. We can just talk about it. But like that was like month one, right? And then we quickly brought on a setter closer, and they started taking care of that. I think I still took some of the sales calls that were like highly qualified, that were basically like, I just want a payment link. Like I will pay $5,000 right now, please. You know what I mean? I would take those sales calls. So from the book a call, like I said, sales team, setter, closer, me taking calls. And for all these to be integrated, you did have to use a tool, which I used Zapier to integrate and make all of these work together. And then from there, once you either close a client or you don't, everything was being tracked inside of just a simple Google Sheets, which again, like I do not do this anymore. Everything's on an actual operating system, custom dashboard, fully automatic tracking, helps with like your entire sales team, you know, all the data from how many DMs you're getting, how many views your funnel is getting, how many people are submitting applications, your fall off rate, everything all in one spot. And they all communicate together using AI agents, right? So really cool, extremely helpful, and most importantly, saves a ton of time, which I value more than the money, right? And it happens to be better for the revenue anyways. But Google Sheet, all I had on it was show rate, close rate, revenue from the call, cash collected, who took the call, and then notes, right? And then also a follow-up date is something that I didn't put on this if they were on like installments, right? Like their payment plan. For show rate and close rate, it was just a simple yes, no check mark that would automatically track the percentage. And then from here, like you just want to double down on what works, right? And you don't have to test what works because like I'm telling you right now, YouTube plus Miro is better than any combination for 99% of niches, scenarios that you could be in, maybe 100%, right? Like this is just simply the best combination when you look at the guys that perform and actually generate revenue. And maybe they rotate it after they get to a certain point. But again, like especially making niche content, starting out, if you're a growth operator, if you are an agency working with coaches, if you're a coach, like if you're selling information, if you're in the education space, if you're selling info, this is going to be the combination that may not get you like the most views, but it's going to give you the most value for your time in terms of your views actually becoming customers. And obviously the video still has to be decent to get views. But what happens when offers just go like absolutely ballistic is they have a video, and this can happen on Instagram as well. They have a video that is built for bottom funnel, right? Like it's built bottom funnel. It's meant to convert like the most aware people in a way, like people that are already like close to buying. It's like that conversion video, but it ends up going viral, right? Like it ends up getting a bunch of views. I've seen this on YouTube. It happened with this specific coach that I'm actually referring to his offer that we scaled in this video. He made more of like a how I did X and made Y, you know what I mean? Like that type of video. And then it got 50K plus views on YouTube. And when you do that, you're probably going to make 6 figures. Like no guarantees, no promises, but there's just a very high likelihood that you're bringing in a good amount of money if you make a YouTube Miro video and it gets a good amount of views, right? Like it's hard not to. So you're probably wondering like, if the offer did great, like why did you change how, you work with all your different clients? And again, full transparency, I actually, when I was a newer growth operator was when I had the most clients. I actually had 12 clients at once. And as this coach went parabolic, I chopped off like a lot of the clients and just focused on the bigger ones, which is, in the space, a lot of people are kind of miscommunicating the fact that you should like stop outreach, as well as myself. I definitely like have said that before, where referrals, focusing on the coaches that you do have is a very good thing. But I'm now a very big believer that you should never stop outreach, whether it's just networking and building a pipeline or just constantly bringing on more clients or adjusting your offer in a way to where, okay, if you have 3 rev shares and that's where you want to cap it, then start doing build and release, right? Like I'm a huge believer in that. And the operating system that I use now, it makes it all possible, right? So if you want my operating system, what I use, you want to see how it works, I'm going to go over who I help and how to work with me real quick. In the actual stack that I showed you is over 6 tools, 6+ subscriptions. There's all like duct taped together using Zapier, and I actually canceled all of them, right? And it's been probably 6 months since I've canceled every single subscription that I own besides my like operating system, right? And that was over $1,500 a month that I was spending in top line on software that would take me 20 hours a week to actually build for every single person that I'd be working with. And obviously like you have to maintain it and continue working on it. And it was all replaced by one operating system, right? So how I operate now, again, I work one clean tracking dashboard, one place for everything. There's over 12 AI agents that are working on the business constantly, like an IG DM setter that you can turn on and off if your setter goes to sleep. Or a lot of the time, like if you're doing 8K a month as a coach, or you're a growth operator and you're launching a new offer, like you're not going to be able to bring on a setter. And if you are, he's not going to be very good because you're not making enough money for them to want to work with you. So having an AI setter is extremely high leverage if you care about your time or your coach cares about his time, right? All the funnels, the CRM, SMS, booking, and inbox tracking, and the agents constantly reviewing every single step of the business, giving feedback, daily reports, all your tracking automated. That's what I have now, right? And it literally sets up everything from block 2 in minutes, not months, right? Not weeks, not 20 plus hours, not constant reviewing. Or if you want to build a new funnel, like boom, there's another 20 plus hours that you got to go work, set up separate automations, pipelines, new testing, new products. No, it's a click of a button. In 3 minutes, you're good to go, right? So this operating system and who I help is specifically info offers. So, like coaches, growth operators, agency owners that help coaches scale courses, mentorship, consulting. And if you want this inside of your business, then there's a simple link in the description. It's an application to work with me. It's going to ask you like what you are in terms of like what business do you run and how are you doing? Like how well are your metrics performing? Where do you feel like you can improve? Do not fill out the application because obviously the application leads to a call. Don't fill out the application if you're not looking to actually implement this in your business. Obviously it costs money, right? I hope you guys got a ton of value from this video. This is literally just a transparent, straightforward, exactly what I did. My journey leading up to it, pretty much like my whole background, my whole like life story, in terms of entrepreneurship. And guys, like this was the system, and now it's easier than ever. Now it takes a few minutes. And since it takes a few minutes, you need to be less educated to get the same results. Like that's huge, right? So if you have any questions, I'll put my Instagram in the description as well. Feel free to DM me. I'm a pretty nice guy. I'll probably get back to you. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed it. Got value. Peace.